Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Deconstructing Christianity. I'm your host, Coach Renz. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody had a great Veterans Day. To all my veterans, thank you for your service. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Had a good day myself yesterday. Very interesting meetings yesterday. So, gonna be some changes in the house coming real soon. Oh, let me see. That might be too far. All right. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to Deconstructing Christianity. I'm your host, Coach Renz. I know I just said that already. But today we are going to talk about angels and demons. Do they really exist? Are they real or are they fake? What presented this conversation today was the fact that right now we have a geomagnetic storm going on. And of course, people are seeing shit. People are seeing things in the sky. And so I thought, since people are having some serious pareidolia, then let's discuss it for a moment. Let's talk about the fact of whether or not there are angels and demons and they're flying in the sky and visiting people. And did Isaiah and Ezekiel have any validity to their stories of seeing these beings and whatnot? And did John of Patmos just take some of what was said in Isaiah, some of what was said in Ezekiel, and utilize that for his visions that he supposedly had while he was on the Isle of Patmos? Those are some of the things that we're going to be discussing today. As a reminder, we are going to be next year, October 31st, 2026, we'll be taking the 5-day cruise out of New Orleans, October 31st, 2026, on the ship, the Valor, 5-day cruise out of New Orleans. You can find the pinned post on my Facebook page, which is at Coach Renz 33 or Deconstructing Christianity. You'll find it on there, and you can find all the information as far as the cruise. And then you go to Carnival or however you book your cruises and you book it. The rooms are filling up fast. I can tell you that. I was told yesterday that the rooms are filling up fast. So you better put that $100 down now if you want to go. Save some of that holiday money that you're going to spend on other people and spend some on yourself. And I got a question for anybody who's on YouTube. It allows for, you have the dual access. You can either landscape the video or you can portrait the video. If it's a new thing they just started on StreamYard, let me know how it's working for you. But let's get started. How many of you guys know what the Northern Lights are? Throw a 1 in the comment if you know what the Northern Lights are. Throw a 1 in the comment if you know what the Northern Lights are. I don't think most people know. Okay. See some 1s. Good. All right, got some 1s. So you know what the Northern Lights are. You know that, but so anytime there is a geomagnetic storm, meaning solar flares have been released from the sun, more extra radiation basically is hitting our atmosphere. So when they hit our atmosphere, it creates these Northern Lights. Well, right now, and because the sun has released even more, some pretty much a category 4 solar flares, Northern Lights have been seen all the way down to North Texas, because I sure as hell didn't see it. Well, I can't say that. I wasn't even outside last night. But as far as they come all the way down to Texas and Georgia. Matter of fact, let me put the little map up here so you guys can see it before we get deep into our conversation, because I want to make sure that we are all on the same page here. I'm getting better at this. I'm putting all the So right now, this is what's expected. If you are in any of these areas, you'll be able to see these northern lights. Right? This is going to tonight. It's supposed to be another night where you may be able to see these. So I want you to look at all that area. Normally we can't see it in all of this area. Normally the lower parts of the United States can't see it. But this is basically just radiation bouncing off of our, or if hitting our atmosphere, creating these spectacular light shows in the sky, right? That's all it really is. So I want you to imagine, go with me if you will, to a time frame, long time ago. And in that time frame, long time ago, you had some people who were living in the northern parts of the north of what's this place we live in? Of North America. And living in North America is these people who would see these lights during certain times of the year. They would see the lights, and they had concepts of life. They had concepts of animals and humans and animals having souls. And in their concepts of humans and animals having souls, they determined that these northern lights weren't happening because of a solar flare was interacting with Earth's geomagnetic atmosphere. No. The Inuit people said that these were the souls of those who had died before, and the souls of animals dancing in the lights, still watching over their shoulder, still being present in their life. So the Inuit people taught that these lights were the souls of their ancestors and the souls of animals. So it could be said that these lights that you are seeing now, this particular one, these particular lights that's in the picture here, is the soul of an Inuit mother, Inuit grandmother. Let me let you have a better view of that picture. But that this is the soul of somebody's mama, somebody's grandmother. But of course, this picture taken in Minnesota was taken by a Christian. And when this Christian took this picture, what do you think that they claimed that they saw? Go ahead in the comments. What do you think that the Christian claimed that they saw in this picture? I'll give you a second. I know it's only going to take a minute. Gabriel, an angel, a duck, angel, of course, an angel. This is what the Christian community is saying. They're saying it's an angel and he's blowing a trumpet. Others have said it's not the trumpet, that it demonstrates that it's one of the angels that was talking about in Ezekiel or in Isaiah, where it has multiple wings. If you look at it, you can say that there's 4 wings. Right, 4 sets, 4 wings, that not just the 2 that you normally see in pictures that are drawn today, but there is more accurate of an angel that has at least 4 wings, even though it kind of has 6 wings in the Ezekiel description. But they were claiming that it's an angel. Well, there was another native tribe that was living up near in the Wyoming area. And they would, from time to time, they would see these lights. And this story was told of how it helped to create the universe and how it was a protector of these people. And it became known as the legend of the Thunderbird. And that story got told all the way down to tribes going all the way into Mexico, New Mexico, Arizona. But it's the great Thunderbird that appears in the sky. Now, if you think about the great Thunderbird and you look at that picture again, can you see the great Native American Thunderbird instead of seeing an angel? Can you close your eyes, shake off that image, that thought process that it got to be an angel, it got to be an angel, and then look at it again, and can you see the great Thunderbird? If you can see the Thunderbird, let me know. You see, this is pareidolia. People been people been having religious delusions for a long ass time, but if you shake off the angel and then relook at it again, you can see the Thunderbird. I think Sean can see it. Who is that over there? Freebie Me can see it. Let me do you one more. You got to do you one more because I see certain people on here, so I got to do this one. Like, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. There was this incident that was happening in space, and Cyclops and Storm and all of them were on the ship, and all of a sudden Jean Grey had to save everybody. And when she saved everybody, she became inhibited with the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force, an enigmatic, powerful entity that just goes through space. And the movie did it okay with Phoenix Force, but when they show how she got the Phoenix Force. Can you see the Phoenix Force? That joker said a 59 Thunderbird, exactly. For those who are Marvel, true Marvel fans, can you see the Phoenix Force? Yeah, you can see that. There you go. Nope. It's Jean Grey. It's the Phoenix Force. Now I'm gonna show you guys one more thing. One more thing, and then we're gonna move on. One more thing, we're gonna move on. All right. I want you to sit back from the picture. Sit back from the picture for a second. Sit back. Let me make it a little bigger for y'all over here on TikTok. Let me make it a little bigger for you. Sit back from the picture for just a second. Just sit back. Okay, that didn't change that. Instead of focusing on the white part, look at the red part as you're looking at your screen to your left. Doesn't that look like an eye? And then the white part coming out is a nose. The other part, then to the right of that is another eye. And then there's the eyebrows. And then look above. Doesn't it look like an owl? Can you see an owl? It's the sign of the Illuminati. Can you not see the owl? When you look at how the red underneath the white wings is the eyes, and then the nose, and then the eyebrows that are above the owl's brow. Can you not see the owl? It is the Illuminati. It is the Illuminati has fired HAARP. The Illuminati has used the Hadron Collider, a Hadron Collider from Spider-Man Multiverse, or whichever one that was. They've been to CERN. You know, they did have that CERN test not too long ago where they did some nuclear fission. And now they're demonstrating it. It's not a solar flare. And they put the Illuminati symbol right up there in your face of the golden owl. Wisdom, knowledge, secrecy of the night. You see, these people can come up with all kinds of things. Oh, and people all over Minnesota was coming up with more and more and more. They was looking at this one and claiming that, oh, someone took a picture of one over a church and they were saying that it's a dove. Hell, that looks like the Phoenix, or look like some eyes staring down at you. And they purposely went and took a picture over a church that had an inscription on it saying that that through Jesus is the gateway to heaven. So they purposely did that. But it doesn't always come out to be all Christianized, because when you look at this one, I see a skull, but it's not even the Northern Lights that's doing that. That's the cloud formation in front of the lights. And someone said they saw a skull. And you can see a skull. It looks like a skull, 2 eyes and a mouth and a nose. It's a skull. No doubt. All the props. And this one, somebody said it was the Ghostbusters. But I look at the red one, it looks like 2 different portals. So if I was a person who believed in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, I can say that all those beings who was coming through the portal of red, and then the other one is all the beings that's coming through the portal of green. But the 2 different portals that are shining through. And then this one is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. It's Michael Jackson, y'all. Moonwalking. Michael Jackson soul. It's coming to us. He moonwalking. Y'all see Michael Jackson moonwalking? Can't you see Michael? Say that's the Son of Man. What, he moonwalking? Hey, look, he got his arm up and he dancing. He's gonna make that change. Actually, you know what? I can see Prince. I can see Prince because I like Prince better than I like Michael Jackson. So I'm gonna say, yeah, that's Prince. But see, he looked like he got somewhat of a suit on. So jacket, that's why I wasn't saying Prince. But okay. Oh, and it's purple, and it's in Minnesota. You know what? That's Prince. Purple Rain. Purple Rain. Look at No saying they see James Brown. Pareidolia is an amazing thing. Pareidolia is an amazing thing. The fact that we can look at anything and then ascribe to it shape and form. Now, I want you to think about something. How is it that people are seeing angels? If they had never heard of an angel, if you had never been, angel had never been described to you, would you have ever seen an angel in any of those pictures? Would you see any beings whatsoever in those pictures if they haven't already been described to you? So when Ezekiel and Isaiah and John of Patmos claims that they're having these visions, and these visions are of angels with all these wings and lion heads on and eagle heads on human bodies and all these things, are they describing something that they are seeing for the first time when Enoch is having his tour of heaven, which we know is fantasy novel? But are they seeing things that's been described to them before, or are they seeing something brand new? You see, if you think about any other times when Abraham supposedly saw God and some angels, when what's his name, Lot saw some angels, when Jacob supposedly wrestled with God, when any other time when you see an angel that the person is interacting with, they are interacting with, they describe them as looking like a man, being a man, no wings, no Manny Faces. If you know who Manny Faces was from the He-Man cartoon and characters, then you know his head changes. He got different faces. So not a bear on one side, an eagle on the other side, and a lion over here on the other side, anthropomorphized on a human body. And so they didn't have any of that. None of that. They always described them as a man. Abraham said that 3 men came. Lot said 2 dudes came. Right? Jacob wrestled with 1 dude. Mary saw 1 dude. They always came looking like a man. Maybe a little shiny, but looking like a man. But any other time, these other jokers, when they describe them having wings and stuff like that, does that not sound like what they would have already seen in Egypt? And not that they went to Egypt, meaning that when they were controlled by Egypt and Egypt was ruling over them when they were still Canaanites in the Levant, there would still be Egyptian iconography surrounding them, still knowing the Egyptian story. They would still know what the Wadjet is, which is a flying serpent. It's a serpent with wings on it. Then think about a serpent with wings on it, the seraphim, serpents with wings, burning serpents at that with wings. It's nothing. A seraphim is a Wadjet. From their Canaanite people, they would have seen the different beings with wings, different Igigi, different Anunnaki with wings. They would have saw Ishtar when she has her wings. When they were under Babylonian captivity, they would have seen these things. When they were under Persians, they would have seen that Ahura Mazda has wings. Isn't it interesting that all these cultures that come before them had deities with wings? They all had fiery deities. The cobra head, when the cobra head is regular, yeah, but then when it flaps out its wings, it's deify the wings. They would have seen this with Amenhotep. And you think about it, the Christians love to say, oh, they put animal heads on top of gods. When have you ever seen that? You got it in your Bible. Animal heads on top of angels or seraphim or cherubim. Because seraphim and cherubim were not originally considered to be angelic, well, considered to be angels. They were higher spiritual created beings, but they were like low on the totem pole. It is church tradition in Christianity that lifted them up into the higher ranks. So they are like little workers. They're not the messengers. They're not the one that come and talk to people. They're not the one that come and do battles. They guard shit and fly around a throne saying, holy, 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 keeping the throne clean. They the janitors. But it wasn't until church tradition later on elevated the seraphim and the cherubim into the higher ranks. But they are really just taking from other cultures. So if Ezekiel, who is Ezekiel and Isaiah are written at the tail end of the Assyrian captivity through the Babylonian captivity by multiple authors, and all these multiple authors would have known about and been familiar with seeing the winged beings, winged divine beings, fiery serpents of the Egyptians, of the Akkadians, of the Assyrians, of the Babylonians down into the Persians. So they're just replicating. And this is why John of Patmos, he's even replicating what the Old Testament said in Ezekiel. He ain't even bringing nothing new to the table. He's taking Ezekiel, Isaiah, and Daniel and mixing it all up to create his own vision. I doubt if he ever even had a vision. That is actually how it came to be. But these stories, they just simply follow the same pareidolia, the same step by step evolution of a religion as anything else. Like I said, the Inuits looked at these lights and thought that it was the souls of people circling them all day, during these time frames. The great Thunderbird possibly came out of seeing this storm happen. And as we saw today, we can see whatever we want. And especially if somebody is giving you a storyboard behind it. I gave you the storyboard of the Thunderbird, and you can see the Thunderbird. I give you the storyboard of an owl, and you can see the owl. So if I give you the storyboard of Jean Grey, you can see the Phoenix Force. So if you're given the storyboard of something, then you're able to see it because your mind will start to find it. Because if you're taking that information in and you're accepting it, your mind will find it. So when these people are being, they're just creating their story, describing their story, they're finding this shit. Yet no one can prove an angel exists. Most of modern people's ideas of angels come from your medieval Greek traditions. the medieval Europe, I should say, traditions of what angels look like, angels and demons and devils, what they all look like. The whole devil with a tail and the horns and the pitchfork, all of that stuff comes from people like Dante's Inferno and what is the other one? Is it Paradise Lost? That's where your modern day ideas of angels and demons come from. From going and looking at, if you were to go to some of these temples of the Christians, and you'll see that all they did was take the imagery that they already had for their Greek gods, their Roman gods, and they converted them into Christian gods. When you go to Rome, go to Greece, and it is rarely apparent there, your idea of Cupid, the little baby Cupid angel, it's where many, you'll see that. And then later on, people like Michelangelo and Da Vinci, they painted based on that idea. So, but those were the Greek gods, right? The Temple of Zeus, that picture of the Sky Daddy, that's Zeus from the Temple of Zeus, of what he looked like back then. We know most of what people believe Jesus looked like is Caesarea Borgia, but God the Father that you see all the time, the big white-haired dude with the big beard, is Zeus. That's all he is. People accept it. People believe it. And people run with it. They run with it. Let's take a call. Oh, it's Jumanji.
Hey,
what's up, Jumanji?
Hey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want to say something about these angels and demons, man. Because, when I was a preacher, what preachers do? We play on semantics, right?
Right.
So I look up into the Hebrew word of angel, and it simply means messenger.
Right.
Look at, what I'm saying? And even the root word of evangelist means the same thing. So what they were was just messengers.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, they became like spirit beings. And even if you look at the early books of the Bible and talk about angels, they do things humans do. They eat. You can touch them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So what they did is when the monotheistic religions came along, they just downgraded all these other gods into angels. And that's the same thing as the demons. Look up that word, just means lesser gods.
Right.
If you go before the pre-exile, they probably used the word, didn't use evil spirits. And it wasn't so much a demon, it was just a spirit that guided you. But then they converted them into opposers of the main God. What's the other point I wanted to bring up about this? What's I trying to bring up?
Yeah, that's good, because I was gonna go there with the fact that angels were nothing more than in the ancient Hebrew, they were the sons of El. When you look at when he gave out the different portions, they are the B'nai Elohim. They were never considered these angelic beings. That's more of that became a later tradition in Christianity. Because even in the ancient Jews, they didn't think about them as angels, but simply, like you said, messengers or just spirit beings that was of another religion.
Right. Yeah, and that's the point. Went into Christianity came that the demons were these evil spirits. Also, even other so-called pagan religion, there was also good demons. If you look up some of the ancient ones, there was no good or bad demon. It came after Jesus was crucified and after, because the Messiah was supposed to rescue these people from the oppressive rule of the Romans. But since Jesus didn't do that, they switched the message to, he rescued us from sin and the demons.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? But yeah, those words is just we interpret them over time. And it's like if you look at anything in the Bible, these things are always about, you can touch them, they eat and stuff like that. What is a spirit doing eating with humans? When Abraham invited those angels in the tent, what they doing eating?
Yep.
How the spirit eat?
Wash their feet. How the angels having sex?
Yeah, right.
And creating babies.
Yeah, they the sodomites wanted to get them, and you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
You know what? Here's the thing. I want you to think about this. I wonder, did you ever think about this when you was a pastor? Angels are all up in heaven. Are there any female angels in heaven ever mentioned?
No, they always refer to the master. They always refer to the master. Never the feminine.
Right. So there's no female angels. So that would explain why they looked down and saw the daughters of men, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the angel was all up in heaven with pent up sexual frustration, it's no wonder they revolted, or they was up there shacking each other. I'm just saying, because obviously they have sexual desires if they looked down and saw women and thought women looked good, so they have sexual urges, according to this book. So were they banging each other, or were they just up there? And you know, if you got a bunch of men who ain't had no sex in a while, they get angry. If we ain't having sex, we fighting, right? Especially when you ain't got shit to do but walk around praising this God. It ain't like you know, and today we can channel our frustration into work or projects and all those sorts of things. But if you up there with God and y'all just looking at us being creepers, that's a lot of frustration.
Right. But also here's the thing, though, even if you were a pervert, I mean, that's like me looking at an animal and getting aroused by that. Why would an angel be aroused by a human? They have a whole different nature.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they were, it's like for an angel or a spirit to look down at humans and get aroused by us. That's perverted. It's a whole different being. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the same, you know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make sense for an angel to look down at humans to get aroused. Like,
right. That would be equal to bestiality. Yeah, that's like bestiality. You're right. I didn't even think about that part.
Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm gonna drop down, man. But yeah, good talking to you,
All
man.
right. Appreciate you, Jamal.
Bye.
Later. Yeah. And that's the thing. This is why some people they do not say that the Nephilim were created by the fallen sons of God, and as far as angels, but they say that the line of Seth started having sex with the line of Cain. And that was because it says that Seth generation, that after so long, one of Seth's generation started calling upon the name of the Lord. They started worshiping God. They started worship. So they were considered the B'nai Elohim for a while. And this is something that I was taught way back in the day. So it was the line of Seth that started until I actually grew up and actually started studying for myself and realized that no, it's talking about the B'nai Elohim, the angelic beings. Is not talking about the line of Seth. But these angels wanted to come down and have sex with a lesser being as far as how this book is created. Why would you ever want to do that? Unless for the fact that there are no women angels in heaven. He said, never seen one, but they could be real. No. Aliens can be real. Angels, we have no proof of a spiritual realm actually existing. Right? We would need proof of a spiritual realm in order to prove that angels exist. So first you got to prove the existence of the space. Then we can discover what's in the space. And then if we discover what's in the space, would that necessarily make them angels, or would that make them interdimensional beings? So they still wouldn't be angels. They would just be interdimensional beings that that live in an existence that is far different from our own. And if they were able to come to our dimension, our matter form of existence, and pose as people, then that would really demonstrate that they just have a technology that can allow for their energetic form or whatever form they're in their dimension to then exist in a form within our dimension. They've done this on Star Trek many times. where a being, a pure energy being from some other dimension, or just a pure energy being, in order to communicate with, you know, the Star Trek people, they take on the form of one of the people on the ship, or they possess him. But that would just mean that they're just some other life form, right? That's all. Said the Nephilim would have been demigods. Yes, the Nephilim would have been demigods, just like Hercules, just like Achilles. You see, that's part of the problem. It's the common motifs, what you can learn from other cultures, and then you transfer that into your culture and try to make it yours now, right? Oh, there's already a story about somebody eating some forbidden fruit, and that was against the will of this God, so let's make our own version of it. There's already somebody who opened up a box and let all the evils and shit, but they had everything was great at first, then they opened the box and all the evils came into the world, because before then it was pristine, but we're going to make our own version of it. They got beings coming down, visiting some of the lesser deities from the Olympic gods, or the Agigi, which is depending upon what time frame you're reading their stories. The Agigi is a lesser beings than the Anunnaki, so they came down and they were the ones who came in at Mount Harmon and took wives of the human, took 200 wives of humans, because Marduk was marrying a human, so they took wives and they made a pact with I forgot the damn name of the dude they made a pact with, but they made a pact with a dude so that he wouldn't just get the blame. Oh, that's an old Sumerian story. So let's just say the sons of God came down and had sex with these women, and that's where the heroes of old and the great men of renown come from. Because once the Agigi came down and did that, then people started having babies with them, and they started becoming people like Gilgamesh and Atrahasis and you know, all these other strong men. I forgot the wild man that Gilgamesh befriended, became friends with. I forgot his name, but they become Utnapishtim. They become all these other deities, these half human. Actually, in one of the Noah stories, I think you see the Zoroaster Utnapishtim. He's the child, the love child of Enki. Right? So, thank you for the necklace. He's the love child of Enki. And his oh no, not one of their stories. In the Enochian story, in the Enoch story, Noah is eyes lit up the whole room, and they said he looked like one of the gods, which kind of make you think he's there talking about, oh, he had sex with Enki. So it's all these fanciful things that they've created based on other people's cultures that they've identified, that they grew up with. And just like that, we today think that these angels and demons are real, because this is what they've shown us. You know, you go to these churches, and even though the Bible says that you're not supposed to make any images of anything on heaven and earth, on the ground or under the sea, you have images of doves and praying hands, but you have the images of angels and Jesus. You have the images of demons and devils. So you grow up with these things inside your churches, even though it's blasphemy for you to do so. And what happens? You start seeing these northern lights, and pareidolia hits. Oh, it's angels. It's the trumpets being blown. I can't tell you, there was like 4,000 comments on one of those pictures. And I didn't go through all 4,000, of course. But they was all like, oh, it's the angel blowing the trumpet. It's the end times. It's the end times. When you read Revelations, none of the angels that blew the trumpets are described as having wings. The only thing that is described of having a wing in the trumpeting is an eagle that flies around saying, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of earth. But not one of them are described as having wings. And angels in general are not, they do not have wings. Only seraphim and cherubim, who originally were not considered in the classification of angels. It wasn't until later writers in the Kabbalah first that started classifying them as angels. And then you started getting other people, some of them early church fathers and like Thomas Aquinas, who started classifying them as angels. Prior to that, they weren't. So this is, an angel's not blowing a damn trumpet. It's nowhere, it's not described as a winged creature blowing a trumpet. This is because people think that all angels are wing, friendly looking beings with wings, and they float around with halos over their heads and just do good things. But if you think about it, angels are assholes in this book. When the angel came to Balaam, he was going to kill Balaam. Instead of, he was told, now think about it, this angel was going to disregard what God had told him. The God had told the angel, go down, tell Balaam, do not bless, to bless Israel, don't curse Israel. Balaam goes down, only shows himself to the donkey the two or three times. The donkey get his ass beat. He then, the angel shows himself to Balaam and he says, I was going to kill you. Well, he was told to go tell him to bless Israel. But the angel was like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. So the angel was going to disobey this God in this whole story. I wonder if people ever realized that. He was going to disobey this God in this story. All right, most people just read through that and don't even think about it. And then he's going to kill a man whose donkey was acting crazy based on his perspective, but he was going to kill him. This angel was an asshole. Because even though I know that I'm only showing myself to the donkey, I'm going to kill you for beating the donkey. Makes no sense. The story makes absolutely no sense. It's a dumbass story. Because why didn't he just show himself to Balaam in the first place? But he coming down, messing around. And then they can't tell the difference between, what was it? The angel went through Egypt and took out all the babies. Right? He took out all these firstborns. And remember, some of the firstborns will be adults. But he took out all the firstborns. But he didn't know who was an Israelite and who was an Egyptian. Well, so without blood on the door, what if you was the one Israelite family and they ran out of the lamb's blood and you couldn't find no more lambs? No more lambs are around. So you didn't get any blood on your door, but you're an Israelite. But this angel don't know that because there's no blood on the door. Angels are not that smart. They are not divine. You see how they're acting more like aliens? Because if you were an angel sent by God, you would think God would have given you that spirit inside you to know who an Israelite was and who an Israelite's not, without there having to be a marker on the door. Now, unless God doesn't have the ability, he sounds like a person who needs to identify people by a marker. That sounds very human. Does that not sound very human? That you need to identify people by a marker because you, the all-knowing God, don't know? Your angel doesn't know? I would be more accepting that every angel and God in the Bible is an alien before I accept that they are some divine being, because they act incredibly human. This guy had to tell Abraham to go and sacrifice his son. And then after he stops him, he's like, oh, now I know that you are for me. You God. Why you doing? Why you didn't know before? What was the purpose of the test? Oh, the purpose of the test because you didn't really know. So you needed to really, really know. So what does the angel say? Now God knows. Because before that, he didn't know. See, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Angels, this God and these angels, they act the same way like a military command. They have some good intel. Like if a military command, if you're going into an area where you are technologically dominant, like beyond means, yeah, you can appear to be gods with your weaponry. But then you show the fact that you're not gods because you don't know everything. What's your take on spirituality, on the issue of spirituality? I don't think that there is no such thing as a spirit. There's your consciousness. And that's it. Whether it stays put together when you leave this existence, nobody knows. I have no idea what comes after this. Nobody can say affirmatively what happens after this. All we know is that your energy doesn't die, but what becomes your energy, we don't know. I don't think that there's nothing to show that you're going to be going up there praising this guy while some seraphim fly around his head talking about some holy, 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 holy all day. So that's why there's no such thing as angels. If an angel, if what they called an angel were to show up today, I would ask it, what planet do you come from? Or are you existing in some alternate, like, is there another dimension of existence that you're in where you get to live in some other type of matter form or non-matter form? And how did you get here? Are you folding space? Is there a black hole or some kind of technology that allows for you to travel vast distances in a blink of an eye? I mean, because according to the Bible, these angels move swiftly. So if they showed up, I wouldn't bow down to it. Like all them fools in the Bible. It says that as soon as they met an angel, they bow down and called him Lord. That ain't happening. It's gonna be like, hey, man. First of all, don't leave without taking me. Because Earth and these humans, I don't like them. I'd rather not be here. Plus, I want to see space. I would love to travel through space. That would be amazing. That's like the most amazing thing I can think of that I would love to do. Just like to travel through space or be out there. But I would never think that they're an angel or there's God and that they should be worshipped. Or when I die, I go to wherever they are. That would be like them living in their existence. And when they die, they think they're going to come here. Oh, we're going to go to this place and it's so green and it got waters and it got, all these different environments where you can experience all these different aspects of life, of being cold and being hot. Imagine if you were a creature that lived on a lava planet. Earth would be a paradise. Earth would be a paradise. All the different environments and the changing of the weather. But you come from a volcano planet, Earth is paradise. Earth is heaven. Did you ever get on a submarine? I got on a submarine in high school on one of them little trips with the recruiter, and I said, no Navy. I'm not going to the Navy. I ain't getting on one of these. But all these people, notice how everybody always has the same story, even when they have their so-called NDEs. Oh, I was in the darkness and I saw this light. It was just this bright light, and I was walking towards the light. You know, or if I went down to hell, and they always see the same things that Dante's Inferno described and Paradise Lost describes. So I went to heaven, and they always describe the same things in heaven that they've already read and everybody's already said. It's always the same thing, you know. They no, we've created these ideas of what's in heaven, what's in hell. We've created them. I guarantee somebody just said Midgard. Bobby said Midgard. And if you don't know, Midgard is Earth. Just the Viking name, the Norse name for Earth. If you go back to the time frame before any Viking had ever heard of Christianity, and if one of them had a near-death experience, I guarantee that that person will claim they saw Valhalla, or I forgot what their place of the dead go. If you don't go to Valhalla, you go to the other place. Oh, you go. Well, I know Hella reigns, but wherever the hell, whatever it's called, you're gonna go down there. I'm sure they saw Odin. I'm sure they saw, you know, the Valkyrie. Everyone always sees their own thing. Jotunheim, Jotunheim. Appreciate that, Kevin. Didn't think I was going to be able to pronounce Jotunheim. Huh? But I've talked to, I had some Indian customers who used to come to my shop and we could talk freely. And I've talked to them and they tell me stories of how they were visited by Lakshmi, or visited by Krishna, or visited by, you know, Kali, or they've been told of other people's near-death experience who were Hindu, and all of their experience are Hindu oriented. None of their near-death experience is Christian oriented. What this joker said. Demons are real. Dr. Taylor Marshall hosted a former LA police Jesse Romero. Hosted former LA police Jesse Romero to speak about a Chucky doll doing a crime. He has a book. Man, I'm not believing that to save my. I wouldn't believe that to save my own life. Ain't no damn Chucky doll killing nobody. And we can come up with some great stuff. You know, the way that I dream, and I dream very vividly, and I can have a full dream. Like I can hit that, I can hit the snooze button, and my snooze is set for 10 minutes. In that 10 minutes, I will have a full dream, right? I did it like 3 times this morning. Full dreams within the 10 minutes. And the only reason I did it 3 times because I wanted to continue the dream. And oftentimes I can continue the dream that I was having, which shows how powerful your mind is when you can have a dream, wake up, go back to sleep, continue that same dream. All right. So I would imagine that if my mind was able to stay together, my consciousness rather was able to stay together, I'm going to create some interesting shit. I already know what people will probably be present in that dream. You know, in that, because of basically how my dreams go. And I know that if I don't like it, I will change it, because I change my dreams all the time. I had a dream the other night. There was some people in the dream. I didn't want them to be in the dream. So then I reversed the dream and they weren't in the dream anymore. Same shit went ahead and happened, but they weren't in the dream anymore. So your mind is incredibly powerful. So when these people are having these near deaths, or they're, doing all these, going into surgeries, or having visions, they are just showing the power of the mind to create and manifest whatever it is you've been indoctrinated into. And since I'm not under any of those indoctrinations, I create my own. So what comes next is whatever, if my consciousness stays together, what comes next is whatever I create. And sorry for doing it. There's a wild hair on this mustache that keep going up. But I will create whatever it is I desire to create. And if you believe in Jesus and you have a strong mind, you'll probably create images of Jesus if your mind stays together. But what you'll probably create is you suffering and burning in fire, being tormented for all eternity. Think about it. Most people who believe in these religions, they don't believe that they are worthy of the glory that this religion somewhat promises. Most of these people will believe that they are unworthy of heaven, that they need Jesus to come save them. And they all have doubt that they are worthy. Even though they believe in Jesus, they all still have doubt. They don't truly believe. Because if they truly believed, then they would go and do the things that Jesus told them that they can go do. But I ain't never seen an amputee grow a limb back. I ain't never seen somebody spit in some mud and put it on a blind man and allow that man to see. For all the Christianity that was going around throughout this world, have never seen any of them things happen. Ray Charles should have got his vision back. He had vision, then he lost vision. He should have got his vision back. Not now one Christian, I mean to say it like a Georgia man would, not now one Christian, straight out of Carrollton, that's how my grandfather would say it, ever heal that man. Ain't now Christian ever went into the cancer ward and healed those children of cancer. Not nan one of them. And what I'm saying is that if you truly believed in your book, if you really believed in the Bible, you really, really, really believed in Jesus, because Jesus said that others would do greater things than he. That he told you to go and lay hands on the sick and they will be healed. He told you all that stuff. But y'all not going to do it. So the question is, why aren't y'all going to do it? And through any type of critical thinking, you would have to come to the conclusion that the reason why the Christians do not go into hospitals and do this is because they have doubt. They have doubt that they will be able to heal that person. They doubt that they'll be able to walk in that hospital, heal that person, and they walk out with that person. And because they have that doubt in that, they have that doubt within themselves. And so if a Christian mind does stay intact when they die, they go into hell because they have doubt. They don't really believe that Jesus is going to save them. They don't really believe that their name is written in the book of life. They really don't, because they have doubt. And doubt is so damn strong that it will derail all your logical thinking, all your efforts. It will cause you to swing way back to the left. And that's why Christians are going to hell. Because they have doubt. They have absolute doubt. That's why that comedian said that with a song says that they're gonna be walking around heaven all day. Yeah, you got plenty of room because ain't nobody there. Hell gonna be crowded. Assholes and elbows. All my military people, they remember that one. Assholes to elbows, assholes to elbows. Hated that shit. And like Debbie just said, they created their own hell. Let me see the whole thing that she said so I don't misquote her. But shit, y'all keep typing so fast, I can't fucking see it. They created their own hell and they will live in their own creation. Exactly. The Jewish religion originally did not have a hell. It didn't have a hell. Hell didn't come into the Jewish religion until around the 5th century, 4th century BCE is when it started becoming a thing. And the only reason it became a thing at that time frame was because they were conquered by they were released by the Persians, then conquered by the Greeks. The Persians and the Greeks had a form of hell, but it really gained its full momentum when they were conquered by the Greeks and Hellenization started. And in Hellenization, you had Tartarus, but you also had Elysium. So Elysium became their heaven, Tartarus became their hell, right? And this developed into their system of belief. So by the time you get to 1st century and the development of Christianity, yeah, they go even further with this whole torment, heaven and hell. So if you were born into a Jewish family in, say, 600 BCE, you would not walk around believing that there is hell. You would have walked around just saying that you went into Sheol. You went into this kind of sleepy, dark state where you didn't really have consciousness of you didn't go up and be with God. Only special people got to go be with God, like Elijah, Enoch, but no one else. You go into the grave, a sleepy little dark place. It's not good nor bad. You're just there. But connecting with other cultures, then being conquered by other cultures, that's when their religion starts to change. And I want you to think about that. We can see this in our own time frame. Anytime a family comes to, if you live, whatever country you live in, I want you to think about, it doesn't matter what country you live in, but whatever country you live in, you have people who immigrate to your country. Those people start, the original immigrants hold on to a lot of their culture, but they start acclimating. And then they have children. Now, their children are still going to be very much into their culture, but then their children start acclimating even more. And then when their children have some more children and these grandkids, they still hold on to the culture because they still got grandma, grandpa. But they're a little bit less than, they are a whole lot less than their parents by the 3rd generation. By the 4th generation, them motherfuckers is more of that country than they are of the country that their original immigrant parents came from. So they start to change. They start to, the more you're in someone's culture, you start changing. You'll take a grandma from Japan who can't speak, who doesn't know how to, doesn't have the sounds of the W. So they can't say words that start with a W, they say it funny. Whether they're from Japan or Vietnam, they say it funny. But the child, if the child is born in America or grows up in America, that child has no problems with that. I saw this video and it had this one Asian girl who obviously grew up around Black people, and she has the same type of vernacular that she sounded like she grew up in the Deck, which is a part of Decatur, Georgia. That's what she sounded like. She sounded hoodish, right? But she didn't sound. And then there was this other Asian girl. I saw a video with her, and she grew up in Texas. Well, I was watching this show actually. She grew up in Texas, and she's Asian, but you can tell she grew up out in the country in Texas because she was downright country. You adapt to your culture. So these Israelite people adapted to every culture that conquered them. And as we know, when you're being oppressed by a culture, not only do you adapt, you start to personify that culture. Especially when you want to be treated better, you personify that culture. You dress like that culture. You start believing in the same gods as that culture. Even if they let you keep your culture, you start making your gods look closer to their gods so that y'all can still be somewhat friends. Say, I'm born in America. My first language was French, so I don't understand what you are saying. Oh. But you're typing in some good English. Je parle en français et très mal. Sorry. Can't translate for you. I can't say it then translate it myself. Wish I could, but I can't. Somewhat still know how to curse in French.
Hey, what's up?
Saint, are you over 21? Oh.
Of course. I'm 22.
Oh, well, it's not an of course because I don't know, but I have to ask. And are you a believer in the Bible?
Yeah, I believe Jesus is my Lord and Savior. I wouldn't be up here otherwise.
Okay, so we can dispense with the smart aleck comments. If we're going to have stop. If we're going to have a respectful conversation, the smart aleckness must stop immediately. Okay?
I understand.
All right. So you believe angels and demons exist?
Yeah, I believe in them, but I'm in this phase of life where God literally stripped me of everything and left me with dust. So it's kind of hard for me to believe right now. Like, I know I've come here with a purpose. I've had encounters with angelic beings. I've had many experiences with paranormal activities. I've done everything God asked me in my life. I don't mean to cuss, but I'm at a standstill. Like,
no, cussing is fine.
My fucking faith is tested time and time again. I'm at this point where I've done everything God asked me. I've built myself up. I'm destined for greatness, but God denies me the one thing I literally want, and it's love. God is supposed to be an all-loving being, but I'm denied one person that can fulfill the hole in my heart that God literally did it. He literally did it. She did it. God did it to me. And now I'm in this state where I lost everyone in my life. I'm destined for greatness, but I'm missing one thing: love. So it feels pointless.
What makes you think that God took all these things from you?
Because all these people in my life weren't good for me. I understood that, and He was clearing the path. Like, I know I'm supposed to go through this world and share all of my art, share my books, share my drawings, share my piano, music, share my voice, singing. I know I'm supposed to do all this and be a reflection of God, but the one thing I prayed for was love. I never received love from my family. Every past lover I had, it always ended bad. I've had several dark night of the souls. I've had several traumatic experiences all my life, and the only thing I ever prayed for was love, and I was denied it. So it's kind of hard to believe any of it now. This feels pointless.
So the people. So let's start with the people in your family. Did you have a choice as to what family you was born into?
No, God dropped me.
Why do you think? Why would you say that God dropped you here? Because could that just not been the fact that your mother, father had sex, and you are the product of that?
I mean, that is true. I'm an active believer that we choose to come here. We have soul contracts. I do believe in that. But I also feel as though these contracts can be violated to the point that God even is like, wait, all right, this is too far. I got to do a divine intervention. And that wasn't my fault. I feel like God even makes mistakes. I'm so sorry. That's how I'm starting to feel right now.
No.
I've done everything in my life according to God. Like I've only walked by faith. Only. And time again, God tests me. The enemy comes every time. I can never know peace. There's a calling in my life. Everybody wants it. I never know peace.
Could it not be that these, this what you call the enemy coming at you is just decisions that other people make, and decisions that you make yourself as well?
It could be. We could get into like, oh yeah, your consciousness reflect reality. We could do all that extra stuff. I don't care about that. Like I'm at this point where I'm well versed in every subject. If you check my bio, I can do all of those things. I'm very educated. I'm young, but my soul is old.
Okay, so if you know all these things, you know that you have absolutely no proof of God, and that the only proof of God that you claim to be your belief or your testimonies. Everybody else in every other religion has the same testimony, the same belief.
Yeah, I'm conflicted because from the moment I write, I've written every dream that I had. It came to pass. And you're right. I feel as though other people can't intervene with it, but to what extent? Like I have to like chop the whole world down. Like it's like the whole world's after my head.
No, but what I'm saying is that you can find a Hindu person that's going through the exact same, went through everything you went through, and they will believe that Brahma is doing that to them, right?
Yeah.
So what validates theirs and what validates yours? Because they both would be considered valid because it's how they feel, right? It's how you feel is how they feel. So wouldn't you have to say that theirs is valid?
I feel like this. I'm a person, I take accountability for everything I did in life. I'm conscious of everything I do. I'm very particular of everything I do. And we can argue, but have a positive mindset. Love and light. I've done it and I've been manipulated.
Oh, I ain't saying that. What I'm saying is,
I know this comment don't matter. It's like a ghost down there, but he says he's not holding himself accountable for his own choices that he made in his life. Every choice that I made was through what I believe as universal God, creator, source. It was all in alignment in the name of love. That's what I feel like. I feel like love is God. Because if you can tie everything back to love. Love is unity. Love is a oneness. Love is compassion for others, right?
Okay, but I think one of the things that you're missing is the fact that you are expecting your God to control the emotions or the reaction or the actions of other people. And if you come to the realization that everybody is their own universal consciousness, everybody makes their own decisions, you have to then choose how you're going to respond or react to those decisions. Now, when you're a child, you're dealing with parents, you're dealing with family. That's harder because when you're under their authority, you don't have as much of a way to respond or react. You're only 22. You're just getting started in the adulting part of life where you have more control over your life.
I was a childish as fuck.
Okay, but you now have more control. You don't have to deal with them if you choose not to, right?
I chose to detach from them.
Okay, I don't know all the details, but that's a good decision. That's from what I can tell. So now it is up to you to make your life how you desire to make your life. Whether you are following the rules of the God of the Bible, the God of the Upanishads, the God of whatever book. At the end of the day, now these next 8 years, what's going on in your life by the time you're 30? And this is what I taught my children as well. But what will be the results of your life when you're 30? From 22 to 30, every decision you make will determine that. You then, if you allow for other people to derail you or to cause harm in your life, because I understand what the commenter was saying, but you're only 22. So I'm not going to say the same thing he's saying, because from when you're under your parents, you don't have as much control to be able to take accountability for everything that's happening. But from 22 to 30, now it's you. Now you have the opportunity to make your life how you choose to make it. And personally, I don't care if you choose to stay with the God of the Bible or you choose to walk away from that God. I don't care about that part. What I do care about is in the next 8 years, you making your life greater. You believe that there's greatness for you? Then now it's up to you to do it.
Before I leave this earth, I want generational wealth. I want to leave stuff for my
kids. I want to leave a legacy. My name will be known. This is stuff I know for a fact.
Okay, you want to create generational wealth. How much money are you investing right now?
According to TikTok, I'm investing a lot of money into people, but I feel like that was a lie. I have many talents, many gifts, many opportunities. I'm not interested in talking about that stuff. I will align that when I'm ready to do it. I'm given the overflow of opportunities. I can do many amazing things. Many amazing things. We get that. We're Black. We have all that. Okay. My whole thing is, I've only experienced abuse, as this comment says, emotional neglect by my parents. Yes. I love. I don't give a fuck about parental love. I hate to say it like I don't give a fuck about parental love. I don't know if you believe in magic or sending negative intentions towards people, but that shit is real.
No, I agree with that. You can send some negative energy towards people.
Yeah, that shit is real. I'm from New Orleans. I'm from a city of people who practice shit like that. Who do all that shit. I've been put on satanic altars and rituals and all this extra shit to kill me. I've been set up trying to put life insurance claims. I had a very traumatic ass life. I don't give a fuck about what nobody's saying in these comments. This is me and you talking.
Okay.
I had a rough life. I had a life that many men in these comments will fold. Like bitches.
Okay, so just talk to me then. Stop looking at the comments.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to look at them, but it just be like, this is a majority of men. They're not fucking men.
All right, stop focusing on them. Right here. Right here. All right.
All right.
So I'm assuming that you now live on your own.
I've always been on.
No, I mean like totally on your own now. Like you support your own life. You support your own life. You're not beholden to anyone. Yeah. So now have you written out like a plan of attack of how you're going to get to your destinations of what you desire in your life?
Yeah, we have a whole college portfolio mapped out. Like what the fuck I want to do, but it's like intervention, like this. These outside forces all started like attacking me. Like people started coming to me left and right. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about none of this. Like I just wanted to go to college and pursue my career in music, but people are fucking with me. Like they're fucking with my finances. They're fucking with everything about me. My parents sabotaged my car. They sabotaged my credit. They ran my name through the mud. I've been fucking set up by people.
Okay, so are you going through the process to fix all those things? Like fix your credit?
I'm trying to get there. Getting the resources, I'm connecting with the right people.
Okay.
I keep been saying, calm down, it's coming, calm down, it's coming. I want fucking results now. I've been working hard all my life. I used to work 100-hour work weeks. Like I don't give a fuck about nothing when people talk. I know hard work. I know my history. I know my people. I know hard work.
You know what I'm gonna say? From what I can tell, because you haven't went through my coaching process, so I don't. There's a lot about you that I don't know, and when I take people through my coaching process, there's a process that I take you through where I get to know like all the details of your life growing up, right? But I don't know that yet. But what I can hear in your voice, you are very angry.
Yeah, I'm extremely. I never release my anger. I never release my anger on a soul on this earth.
You have to not release it on someone. You have to release it from yourself. Right now, you got it all bottled up inside you. And when situations come to you, that anger comes out in that situation instead of you being able to sit back and really think through it. You're probably thinking through it. I'm not denying that you think through things now and you come up with good plans. But what I'm saying is that success is not measured by what you do compared to other people, but what you do compared to what you could have done. If you can take all that anger and displace it and get rid of it and let it all go. Oh, he disconnected. But and it could be his phone just dropped. But if he can just if you're still there, young man, or if you come back to this or whatever, if you can let go of all that anger that you have bottled up, and I know the Christian way is to say that forgive those people and then forgive yourself. But the only thing you really have to do is to realize that those things they're not part of you anymore. You've let go of your family. You've let go of all those other people. That way, if you get rid of all that anger, then you will be able to see things even clearer than what you see them. You will be able to act in ways that will give you the things that you desire much faster. You can't get there with that anger, just being exploding outward in life. You have to, if you're going to use the anger, now there's another part. If you're going to use that anger, then you have to channel that anger into getting what you desire. Like not let it be anger, but let it be motivation, right? Let it be motivation. But you're 22 now, and I understand what Jumanji was saying earlier, but Jumanji, that's something that I usually hold for someone who's at least 30 years old. Because from 22, from 18 to 22, I mean 18 to 30, when you start being released from your parents' house and you're able to go and live your own life, you got a lot of unraveling to do. You have a lot, you're carrying a lot of their lessons and their life with you. And it is through those years that you start a person should start releasing the parts of what their parents taught them that's not effective for them, and then start to become their own person. So after 30 is when I hold people accountable for their own actions, right? But you can't, but honestly, believing in this God, and I see at that moment, I know this channel is deconstructing Christianity, but at that moment, if I was coaching him, I would not try to deconstruct him from Christianity. I would try to help him see it in such a way that it is a benefit to him instead of it being a hindrance to him. And right now, it is a massive, his anger is his hindrance. So I feel for the kid. I really do. I feel for the kid. Right? And no amount of prayer is going to solve his issues. Right? No prayer is going to solve his issues. Honestly, I would send him to either some type of life coaching or therapy. Honestly, I would send him to therapy. I would tell him that I can only help you so far. You're going to have to do, if you work with me, I need you to also have a therapist. Right? Because just this bullshit of just praying and believing in God and trusting in God, the young man been trusting in God and he ain't got nothing but hell. Obviously, based on what he's saying thus far, he's grew up in a fucked up home. And there's no amount of, it's not a good God that allows you to go through suffering for what? Because most people, especially Black people who have been through, and rephrase that, most poor people, because it's not just, I don't want to put it as just Black. Most poor people who have been through what he is claiming and don't have, and this is why poverty, finances is the reason why I'm bringing this up. Because rich kids who go through that kind of lifestyle, they go through it as well. But later on, and after they leave their parents, they generally have finances to be able to go and pay to get help. Most poor people generally don't have finances to go and pay to get help. And then all that poor person does is grow up, stay poor, and then reflect the same bullshit onto their kids. And they continue that cycle until one of those kids break free of the poverty, and then they're able to go get help. The good thing about living in today's world is that we have an online system. When I was growing up, there was no, you either had the money to pay for therapy or you didn't. There was no internet to go pay for therapy or to go and get at least some basic ideas of therapy. But that young man needs therapy. He could gain a lot from being one of my clients, because I would get him through that anger issue. I would refocus that anger and disperse that anger. Right. But shit, I just feel bad for him. I feel bad for him. Because now I realize why he came on the channel already aggressive. Already aggressive. But that's why we had to, let's diffuse that a little bit. I'm not going to go back at you. Let's diffuse it. All right. So, and all that praying ain't gonna do shit. Now on the other side of the coin, you've been praying to this God, been devoted to this God, and this God has shown you nothing but the stick. Why do you still think that this God is your benefactor? Like, if he's still here, I would not have gone there with him. I don't think he's on the channel anymore. I haven't seen a comment from him. So I will say this in freely. If your God, And he said he believed in a soul contract, which I wanted to go into that, but then I realized his anger and his hurt, so I wasn't going to do it. But people who believe in a soul contract is saying that you have a contract before you came into this existence, and you purposely decided to come into this existence to that family. For whatever reason, you decided to go into this fucked up family. Okay, why would you have a soul contract where you agree to come into a fucked up family? And then he said that people violate that contract. He said that God violated the contract. I don't know if he actually meant that, but he said that God. But he's questioning the God anyway, so I don't doubt that that wasn't something that he said arbitrarily or by mistake. So he believed that this God has violated that contract. If this God violated the contract, why would you continue to accept this God and try to be obedient to this God? If before you did anything wrong, this God violated the contract that you agree upon with this God. That means this God is not to be trusted. And then what the church is going to tell him, God sent you through all of that so that you will have a greater testimony to tell the world. And because he believes that he's destined for greatness and that his name will be remembered and so on and so forth, that he'll create generational wealth, a Christian can easily convince him that, I ain't gonna say easily because he's angry, but a Christian can convince him that your suffering will be to God's glory when you glorify God for getting you through all that suffering. That's some bullshit. Bullshit. That's straight bullshit. And I wouldn't accept that. He would do better. He would have a better life if he didn't believe in this God and believe that he had to walk by the faith of this God. Sky, are you over 18? 21? Sky. Sky didn't mean to come up. They didn't mean it. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I wouldn't. Yeah. So why would you continue to deal with a God that violated your first contract with him if you believe in soul contracts? But even if you didn't believe in soul contracts, you were taught about this guy, you believed in this guy, you were indoctrinated, whether socially indoctrinated or by your parents indoctrinated into believing in this God. This God has shown you nothing but the stick to the level where you have to separate yourself from everybody that you have ever known, including your family, your parents, because they were trash. I'm not believing in this God anymore. I mean, hell, I separated from this God and I had an incredibly loving family. And as some of you guys know, my family is so loving that they get on my damn nerves because they don't know how to let people go who shouldn't be around the family no damn more. You were a girlfriend. Y'all didn't even have any children. You were just a girlfriend or a boyfriend from 20 years ago. Why are you still coming around? You ain't part of this. And you're a leech. You only show up to eat and you never bring anything. Get the fuck on. Stop coming. You leech. I'm just saying. And I still detached from this guy. So imagine if I had grew up in a family where it was nothing but anger and frustration and people beating you and people taking from you constantly and just robbing you of your dignity and creating this ball of anger that this young man has. Why would I still believe in this God? Because obviously the hope of this God is not present. And I'm not being patient. That young man is not patient. He won't shit now. If you won't shit now, stop believing in this God. You won't shit now, start understanding how the cause and effect work. If you won't shit now, understanding what pole is something on and how do you vibrate to the higher end of the pole if you won't shit now. Like I wasn't going to say this today, but I'm going to have to start decreasing the number of lives that I do because not last night, but the night before, Yeah, the night before, I sat there while my wife was asleep. I was sitting there and I was meditating on the fact that, all right, Renz, it's time to make another move in your life. You've made a few moves here since you've been in San Antonio. Didn't go the way you wanted to go, but some of the things that you're dealing with, you in the long run, it's not what you really want, to deal with. It's just something you can do. But it's not going to be the lifestyle that you actually want. And so I say, all right, let's think. Brain, let's go. Because the way my brain works, I create and manifest opportunities all the time. Right? And then the shit just falls in my lap. Well, so 2 nights ago, I was just sitting there and I was like, I couldn't think of nothing directly. And so I said, okay, you know what? It's going to have to be the fall in the lap type. When I came up when I did the cigars thing, that was something I thought about, contemplated, and desired to have when I opened up the cigar lounge. But other things have just fallen into my lap. The gym fell into my lap. The personal training business that was 6-figured fell into my lap. Those things just fell into my lap. So this time around, I was like, I can't think of nothing directly, so fall into my lap because I ain't got time to think about something for 6 months. So yesterday, one of the reasons why we didn't have a live is because I met with someone, wasn't intending for the meetup to turn into anything other than a friendly meetup. Someone that has been in my life for a long time, but hasn't been in my life. Like, we've known each other. Like, this is my brother, but we haven't had the brotherly relationship. One, the age gap, the distance, because one lived here and I lived there. So we wasn't able to develop it. So now we're developing it. We're working on developing it. And we weren't even, he nor I were intended upon have a conversation that would cause something to land in my lap. But based on what he does, some greatness landed in my lap. An opportunity landed in my lap. And I am pursuing that opportunity. Which means I will probably only have lives Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday because I won't have the time to be able to do them. I can't pursue that and do this at the same level. So I understand that he wants shit to land in his lap right now. He avoided my question about how much money are you investing because he talked about generational wealth. He avoided that one and went straight into a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's a real question. But without this God, opportunities land in my lap all the time. I deny opportunities quite often because it's not something that I just want to do. Hell, this what I'm doing right now landed in my lap. I had never intended for this to become this. Oh, whoa, all that background noise. Clean it up.
Yeah, man. That's I was saying that's a coping mechanism. A lot of times, man, religion is so indoctrinating people that the reward is tied to this God. So they give that up. Will give up. It's like dangling a carrot in front of your face. So people are to give that up. It's no purpose, anything to strive for in his life. Yeah. So it'd be hard to give that up. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that illustration you gave, man, about the Godhead. I was like, that's very deep. Because people are always looking for something better. And it's like, you go through this world and suffer. And it's like, the only thing you can look forward to is something after this. So if I give up that God, it's like my existence is suffering. You know, so it's like, unless he finds that Godhead, man, it's like he's always gonna keep on to that God because it's a crutch. It's something to keep him going.
Oh, so you're saying that he got to find the Godhead inside himself, not the one outside himself.
Yeah, right. And then he got to find the love within himself. He say, I don't feel love. Well, your love is you.
Right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, people like, nobody loves me, but go look in the mirror. And you'll see that you'll find that love.
That is the first place where love has to start, is within yourself.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
and also, it's like he says he doesn't care. The thing is, man, we want that connection with our parents. We look for that proof. Every child, that's instilled in a child to want to please their parents, and they also want that bond and love. And the person grows up without that, man. They grow up very tarnished, man. And so relationships is messed up. You put up a wall, and even though you say I want love, it's like it's hard for somebody to get through that wall because you're so afraid of being hurt.
Yeah.
So I understand what he's talking about. It's just it's a lot that goes on in that. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I can guarantee if I was coaching him, I would probably find out that in every relationship that he had outside of his family, that he had some type of, he restrained himself from allowing himself to show love to that person. And so that person didn't show love back to him. That creates tension. And so ultimately the relationship is going to end. So you never really find love unless you put yourself out there to be loved by showing it yourself and open yourself up to receive it. So I guarantee I would probably find that within his history or within conversations with him. If I was coaching him, some of the things that I would have asked him in a coaching section, I would never do it here, you know, because that's not for y'all to know. But yeah, he probably, because he doesn't have that love with his parents, I would imagine that he has a blockage and he doesn't trust anybody to love him because of what he experienced. And he probably didn't have aunties and uncles and cousins and siblings to be able to create other forms of love so that he can be open. And if you've never had any kind of love, gosh, it's going to be difficult for him to find love, because the best family is not the family you're born with, it's the family you choose, right? That's always the best family, because y'all chose to love each other, not forced by blood to love each other. But
big facts, man.
And in order for him to actually find it, he's going to have, I'm sorry, I know I cut you off, but in order for him to actually find it, he's going to have to meet that person who sees deeper inside of himself than he can see, and show them so much overwhelming love that it breaks down his barriers. And that is few and far between.
Most definitely, man. Also you gotta watch out for them, narcissists too, because they love bomb you also and do you in a whole different thing where you feel that the only you get the love is for them. It's like a supply. It's hard. It is hard, man. When you grow up with dysfunction and stuff like that, it's very hard. I wish the best for them. I understand now. I grew up distant from one of my parents, and it's just you have this anger, like why this person don't love me, or, what I'm saying? Why they act like I was a disappointment. So you take that a lot of people. It takes a lot of counseling and therapy and a lot of emotional regulation to get through that, man.
No, I'm with you 100%. I mean, I went through that with my dad. I for a while thought that my dad didn't care about me, didn't love me, that he loved my mom and he loved my older sisters, but he didn't give two shits about me. And it really took me understanding my parents' relationship, what happened in their lives, the fact that my mom, I didn't grow up in my father's house because my mom wouldn't leave her parents. So when he came to Texas and then went to Florida and he was begging for her to come, she the one decided she wasn't going. So I had to start breaking down that I can't hold him accountable for that part. I can hold his ass accountable for every time he came up to Georgia. He spent like 10, 20 minutes with me. Then he go party with his friends, party with my mom and all that kind of stuff. Go see everybody else. I blamed his ass for that. But when I was 27 and me and him actually was living in the same city and started spending time with each other, I saw him make the effort. And at first I didn't want to allow him to have to make that effort. But then I realized that if I now don't allow him to make the effort, then I can't blame nobody but myself. So let me see where this goes. And we developed our relationship.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing, man. But I won't switch topics too much. But I was hearing you talk about earlier, and I try to jump down. I don't want to, talk to. I like to listen to what you're talking about. But as far as the, what's that, the afterlife thing? Yeah. I used to watch these Discovery Channel things where they do that, and they were saying that the last cells to basically die is your brain cells. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times, the happiest moments before you expire, the happiest moments are experienced in your mind. You know, so that's why a lot of these people, when they come back and resuscitated, that's the brain, putting things in your mind before you expire. I think they say, I forgot what they were saying, but it's like they did some kind of gap here, and the person who actually passed away, the good memory, the part of his brain that had the good memory is still lighting up. So the last couple of minutes that you have, it seems like eternity when if you are resuscitated, but like a couple of seconds
right,
that goes on. So a lot of afterlife stuff, it just has to do with the brain cells. It's like a scientific explanation, that they kind of went through it.
Yeah. So when you have these kind of experiences, first thing that releases in your brain is a whole bunch of DMT. DMT allows your brain to hallucinate, dream, right? Hallucinate or dream. So you can call it either one. It's just that so much of it happens. So let me say dream, because hallucinating is when you're still awake. But so it allows you to dream. So now you got this way more DMT washing over your brain than is normally released when you go to sleep. So the person is in a dream state, but at the same time, serotonin is also released into your brain. Serotonin is your happy juice. That's what makes you happy. Like anytime that you're feeling, like you ain't feeling well, if you meditate and tap like right here behind your ear, your brain will release more serotonin, right? Serotonin makes you feel happy. So I can see how. I haven't seen what you're talking about. I'm accepting it, based on how you're saying it. But I can imagine that your brain is releasing DMT and serotonins, which is going to cause the happy centers of your brain to light up. That makes absolute sense to me. Right. So you're going to have these great memories, just amazing time. And it might be, and it's probably going to unlock the ones that you don't really think about that often, because I know.
You were told, like you said, when you said, when them biking people, so, some of those memories you forgot about, some of your parents told you.
Mm-hmm.
All this stuff will come up, and, I was up in the clouds dancing with my father and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's just something, because you heard that growing up. You probably didn't believe it through your life, but it's like, it's stored in your memories,
Yeah, it is. It's stored in your memory. And I know, I can tell you right now, I will be either a 6-7-year-old kid in my grandmother's chair, cuddled up under her, or she in the kitchen and she just a humming, and I always just come up behind her and just hug her. And that used to be that is the warmest moments of my life. And I'm talking, and I know some people gonna think is wrong for this. That is warmer than any other moment of my life. I'm talking from the birth of my children to the most beautiful moment with my wife. Coming up and being cuddled by my grandmother or hugging up on my grandmother I have yet to experience anything more beautiful and peaceful than that moment. You understand? So if my mind creates something, I know it's going to be that. It's going to involve her.
But yeah, no care in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
no care in the world. I remember.
Yeah, and this is a woman I can literally say I have never seen I never, ever. I can't say what all she did in her life, but I never saw my grandmother do anything wrong in my whole existence. And I lived with her. So I ain't never seen her cuss, get angry, treat anybody wrong, say a foul word or a negative comment about anybody. I've never heard her say a negative comment about somebody. How in the hell you do that? And I lived with her for at least about 7-8 years, up until I left for the Marine Corps. But she's the most loving person. She is the epitome of love, as far as I'm concerned. So that's who I would see. That's who I would spend my time with. Love my kids. They be there too. They're going to be on the outside. They gonna love my wife. They all going to be on the outside. Isabel. Yeah.
One more point. It was also saying, like, people be like, I see my deceased relative, like, looking at me from the top of the road. They also saying that sometimes like a white noise could make your peripheral like hallucinate, like you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we experience like somebody we got lost, like sitting in the room, or we got to see him run by. they was doing like it was some type of like clock or something where it made like a white noise with your brain you hear, and it causes your mind to hallucinate or put certain images up at the side of your eye. You know, so I'm going to go through that too. Also, people see that. You know, I experienced that too. When my grandfather passed in '94, so after he passed, I would see like figurines and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's her. You know, but I got older, I'm like, yeah. If she really came back down, she would talk to me while she playing games and just looking at me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She wouldn't come back down to earth and play games just looking at me. She would have came and talked to me, tell me she okay. You know?
Yeah, I'm with you. Because even my mean ass grandfather, my grandfather, he had a mean streak in him. But I had a vision, which was really just a dream, that he came and sat on the edge of my bed and he gave me some instructions and told me some things that's going to happen in the family and told me it was up to me to fix it. The shit did happen and I did fix it. But, you know, some people actually that kind of strengthened my belief in Christianity. But then I thought about my grandfather. He was never really a Christian. So I was like, it don't actually compute. Because if Christianity is right, it is unlikely that my grandfather's going to be in heaven.
Yeah, they got the cheat code. He got the cheat code, man. He did something, bribe Peter at the gate or something.
Something. Pulled a gun on him. My grand, you gonna let me in, mother? Eddie J. Ross, you gonna let me in this? Yeah.
Break yourself. Let's stick up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man.
All right, appreciate you. Yeah, Eddie J. Ross going. He be like, I'll be damned. I ain't going over there. Make me. That was my grandfather. Be like, make me go over there. Now, my grandfather's the type of man that would look at heaven, look at hell, and be like, I will fuck heaven up if you don't let me in there. You think that's hell? Wait, shit. I'll go in there, get all them motherfuckers out, and we'll fuck this shit up. That's the grandfather that I had. But he's also the type of person that, some of my family, my daughter, my son, my grandkids, they in this hell? Oh, hell no. If my grandfather is in heaven, let's say my grandfather's in heaven, he'll bust out of heaven, save everybody that's his family members, and bring them back to heaven and dare anybody to fuck with him. That is Eddie J. Ross. That is where I get my thought process on. If you mess with you can say whatever you want about me, but if you mess with my family, I will burn the earth. I will scorch the earth just because of that one person. Just that one person. Like, I'm not going to go into your little town and try to seek you out. I'll just destroy the whole damn town. If you mess with my family, you mess with the people I love. And that all comes from Eddie J. Ross. Boss lady says she always joke when she gets to hell. When I get to hell, I'm going to burn it down. It's already on fire. You're going to burn it down some more. That's what I'm talking about. Burn that. Now, look, boss lady, you can't burn down hell, because if I make it there, I'm going to turn hell into the best nightclub ever. And it ain't going to just be like loud music. It's going to be nice. You're going to have your picnic area, your peaceful area, little jazz over here. You can have your other stuff. You have all your different venues and everything, but you have your waterfall, nice little chill spots. Of course, there got to be a cigar lounge in hell. There'll be a cigar lounge up in that joint. And for, you're going to have a strip club for the women, strip club for the men. I particularly don't care, but there ain't no money in hell. So strip club is fine, because I don't believe in giving my money to no strippers. That just ain't happening. That don't make sense to me. But, some people like that. Some people like to do it. Some people like to watch it. Gonna have that. Gonna have like some red rooms. Damn sure gonna have some red rooms up in that joint. Gonna be plenty of red rooms in there. For every like and every likeness, everything you like. Gonna have some fresh juices and gonna have some liquor. I don't really, care about that part, but I know y'all do. Gonna have some good stuff. That's right, Patel. Just wouldn't need a match to light the cigar show. Just right over there. Gonna have the farmland and the animals Angelina had her little miniature horses and miniature cows and goats and shit. And little, she likes them little miniature horses and goats and shit. You know, had them. Oh, hell gonna be nice. Gonna have nice hell. People in heaven gonna be looking over like, damn, it look kind of good down there. Kind of wish I was down there because all we do is praise this motherfucker all day. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. Gonna be playing Nelly at the front door. It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. Right when you come through the front door. Theme song. Fun said, did that say no? Fury said that, what it do, coach? Demons are real. I got 4 of them. when my oldest was about 4, yeah, that little joker was about 2. From 2 to 4, she was a little demon. That's for damn sure. But she was the sweetest little demon, and then she became a daemon. So if you look up the word demon, you will realize it comes from the Greek word daemon. Daemons were a higher angelic being that means a genius that was better than the rest. All right. So the word got flipped around, and it kind of goes back to what Jumanji said. In the early days, there were no such thing as an all good or all bad spirits. There were just spirits, and spirits were sometimes good, sometimes bad, just like the Anunnaki were sometimes good, sometimes bad. Some lean more to the bad, some lean a little more to the good. Like Enki had people like, oh yeah, praise Enki, but Enki was an asshole sometimes. So it goes back and forth. So a daemon were great, and we have that in our. We use that in our vernacular today. If we say, oh, that person was a demon on the court or a demon on the field, that's not a negative thing. That is used to mean that they was nice, like they was like playing at a level. So the youngest one a shepherd for the devil. Fury said his youngest is a shepherd for the devil. Oh man. You gotta figure out what to meet them. You gotta figure out how to meet that mind, man. Meet that mind. But yeah, I don't believe in any of these mythological beings. Dixon. Doing well. Are you over 21, Dixon?
I'm 53.
53. All right. And are you a believer in the Bible?
So I just have a quick contention in your life. It says angels and demons are real or fake. You believe in them or not?
No.
Why do you have some type of opinion to scoop them off it?
Because I just like it as a piece of jewelry. And actually, this pendant actually has nothing to do originally. It had nothing to do with angels or demons. Originally, this was about other people's intentions and not angels and demons. It started becoming an idea for angels and demons in or around 2500 BCE is when it started becoming that with the Sumerians and the Akkadians. And then other cultures picked it up. Even in Christianity, in the medieval times, this was called the Hand of Mary. Of course, it was turned this way, but it was the Hand of Mary, and it was used for fertility and to protect against crypt death.
So what are you wearing it for? What do you need protection from?
No, I just like it as a piece of jewelry.
Why not wear a cross?
Because I don't like the cross as a piece of jewelry.
Well, you have to be now aware that you are representing something of spirituality, right?
For other people, yes. Yeah, I'm aware that other people take it that way. But I don't live my life based on what other people think.
It might be the case that this observation is the key element. What they see might seem very different from what's in your head.
Okay, but that doesn't matter in my life. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I see people wearing things all the time. It has a certain meaning to me, but what it means to me doesn't matter to their lives.
See, your background says you're kind of creative. Is that it? You like creative things.
Yeah,
So why not create your own painting?
because that's not something I'm interested in doing. I don't create jewelry.
From the signs of your surroundings, it seems you're into creativity.
Yeah, but if I move, I started to move my desk today, and if I had moved my desk, then what you would see behind me would be different pictures of people smoking cigars.
That might be the case, but today's something different.
Right.
It
So,
speaks volumes of your mindset, right?
yeah, it does, but you have to be able to know my mindset in order to know what it means. Because
analyzing your mindset.
So what do these masks?
It might be from Africa, right?
Exactly. So then what is it? What do you think it means to me?
You're representing your cultural aspects of what you appreciate, right?
There you go. Yes. Now,
Masks that seem to be colorful and beyond the norm of masks. So you're saying you like things that are creative, right?
yeah. What is that?
That's part of your creativity, right?
That's the chakra system of chakra.
They say that might be 7, but they say that it's 12.
Yeah, they say that, but that's what that is.
Is that what you believe in? Is that your system? I believe.
No,
There is no system of belief, is what you're saying.
there is no system of belief. There is only systems of what I know.
You know how is a basis for where and what.
If I were to give the best example for that would be the Hermetic principles.
So they carry a caliber of magnitude beyond others.
Yeah, they do.
What basis is that?
Proof. The fact that I have utilized those principles, that philosophy to guide my life, and it has shown itself in the results.
Is your claim that biblical scriptures are not proven evidence? Is that it?
Oh, that is definitely one of those things. The biblical principles do not bear themselves out to be true.
So when you open a Bible at particular places, it says that this is here, that's it. It's not there, it's what you're saying.
No, that is not what I said. We said principles. We said nothing about places.
So let's get the variables here. If the Bible speaks of specific places, are they to be taken seriously or null and void?
It is only to be taken seriously to the point of, did that place exist? That's about it. As far as did certain events happen there? No.
So then what other variables have gathered incredible evidence?
So for example, if an angel killed 185,000 of the Assyrians, then we should be able to see the mass graves that would have been done of those Assyrians. We would also see a depletion in the Assyrian record of their military forces and an inability to go forward and conquer down throughout the rest of the Levant and into Egypt.
Oh, my beloved, you made a big blunder. See, if those people are annihilated, as you say, how will they make a record if they no longer exist?
Actually, many cultures do make record of when they were defeated.
Yes, we
but
understand that.
But no, what? Let me finish. Let me finish. But as a person who has also studied military and military history and military tactics, Sennacherib, if he had lost 185,000 troops, he would not have been able to immediately after he lifted the siege on Jerusalem to go and conquer through the rest of the Levant and into northern Egypt, because he would now need to reconstitute that army before he goes and conquer and go on and continue his conquest.
You ready for my response? You see, if ordinary puny mortals are going against an angel, you don't know the force of the angel. What if he has a nuclear power? What if his Holocaust weapon is beyond the idea of an average man? And when he strikes his hand, every human being there is now vaporized, incinerated. How would you find remnants of what you just stated as an angel in battle? Can you give me records of angels in battles where humans survive?
Well, see, here's the problem. Here's the blunder that you made. You initiated your commentary with if. And if is simply you reading your own thoughts into the narrative. You can only go by what the narrative claimed. The narrative claimed that this angel killed them. It didn't say how. It didn't say that the bodies were obliterated. This is your own thought process in order to validate your statement. Now, what we can see is that Sennacherib in the Assyrian record wrote that Hezekiah he took the tribute from Hezekiah, brought his army back to Assyria, to Nineveh, and then gave them orders to go into the rest of their conquest through the Levant into northern Egypt. So the Assyrian record speaks somewhat similar to the biblical record that Hezekiah was going to pay the bribe, pay the tribute. And then the Bible deters and say that the Sennacherib's men didn't accept the tribute and wanted more. And then the angel came and destroyed them. But Sennacherib's records say that he paid the tribute, it was accepted, and he pulled his troops.
But now you have to be very clear of your obvious blunder, my friend. You see, you said angel. When you said the word angel, very key word, angel.
No, because stop. You see that right there? You see this right here? No, you have to be disciplined. Answer the. No, stop, dude. You cannot overtalk me, okay? See, don't overtalk me. All right, you're a guest on my show. Don't unmute yourself when I'm still talking. You cannot overtalk me. Understand the regulations of this show.
It's a TikTok friend.
I can kick you off. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Why do y'all think y'all can come on someone else's show and determine how the show is going to function? It doesn't work that way. It simply does not work that way. And then I'm not going to argue with someone who says if an angel used some type of nuclear weapon, that then that nuclear weapon can destroy everything and then there wouldn't be any bodies. You never answered that. You want to go into some other bullshit of a blunder. Answer that. Now I'm gonna give you another shot.
You made up that. You the one that said angel, not me.
What are you talking about? Wait, what are you talking about I'm the one who made the blunder and said angel, when the Bible, I'm quoting what the Bible said about an angel came and claimed to have killed 185,000. I'm not saying.
Can you give me a description of how he did it? Give me the description.
Did you? You didn't listen to what I said, did you? Because I said for the
remnants of the body, right?
Does the Bible describe how the angel killed 185,000?
It does not. It just says he slayed them, right?
It just says he slayed them. Now,
right, so how would an angel, you're defining representation of an angel. How would an angel slay? Like an ordinary man? Is that it?
What I'm saying is we don't know.
Okay, good.
So, but you are the one who made the blunder of saying that if an angel did it, he could have used some type of nuclear weapon would vaporize the body.
If he was an angel, there's no telling of his magnitude of power that be nuclear. I said, there's no telling. You don't know what sort. He's an angel, remember?
So instead of, but then you added a nuclear something or whatever. I said there is no, we don't know.
Because I said us being average humans have primitive power of nuclear holocaust. You get it? An angel can surpass it by 1,000 times, 10,000 times. Eh? So guess what? If we know the magnitude of power for man as a nuclear arm, guess what an angel arm of power could be? Beyond your light years of imagination, right? Think of it. If we have a supreme weapon that incinerates human beings and angels are far beyond the regions of the mind of man, that means the weapon of the angel will have to be something to incinerate every adversary in seconds, right?
Sure. If they choose, sure.
There we go.
Do you have any proof? Do you have any proof of that, sir?
See, friend, at least you see, it's perfect. It's a touche moment. It's now a touche moment where you cannot provide something for me and I cannot provide something for you.
But wait.
You are aware of the angel.
What? No, sir. I am telling you, I am aware of what is written in your Bible. I am not aware of an angel. I am not validating an angel. If anything, I validated that Sennacherib's records say that he pulled his troops and then gave them orders to go elsewhere to conquer. So I am,
It's something that they taken seriously.
yes,
So,
in
so
scholastic
basically,
circles,
when
yes.
You take that account seriously. That's something for you to say, you know what? It's perfect for me to take into consideration, right? In that same consideration, is there an angel in that text?
No, there's not.
So it just says that his men were slain.
No,
That's it.
Sennacherib's records, no, it doesn't say that his men were slain at all. And so,
What does it say?
according to the records that we found in Nineveh, he pulled his troops after the tribute was paid by Hezekiah. His troops came back to Nineveh. Then he gave his troops new orders, and they went and conquered through the rest of the Levant and into northern Egypt. And we can see the evidence of Assyrian conquest through the Levant into northern Egypt, and them ruling them for about 200 years.
So now you need the remnants of the bodies that the angel destroyed. Is that it? You need to see it to believe it. Is that it?
In order to accept the biblical record over Sennacherib's record, I would have to see that and a little bit more, because then how are we going to? We know that the Assyrians went on and conquered that region, so we would then need to see a raising of the army, because there's many of their texts from multiple cultures show when they raised armies for conquest. So we would have to see the raising of a new army to go down there and do it. And there would need to be a time gap in order to raise that army. But we don't see the time gap at all. It's immediate go back to Nineveh and immediate go down and conquer the rest of the Levant and northern Egypt.
A simple realization for you here. You go to a beach, you go in a park, right? You see fecal matter by a tree. You have to see the mottle put it there. You have to see it. You have to,
No,
when you see the fecal matter, you say, a dog put it there. There was the remnants of a dog. Or you have to have the exact idea. You have to have the identification of the mark to put it there.
So you are just completely ignoring, like what you're doing is no, what you're doing, how do you explain the,
you don't need to see the photography of the situation.
That's neither here nor there, sir. Can you explain how is it that Sennacherib's army returned back to Nineveh, which we have evidence of, and then that his army went down and conquered the rest of the Levant and into Egypt?
The army was incinerated, right?
The army that Hezekiah claimed that was incinerated, or as you claim that they are incinerated, because there is no proof of incineration. That is just your claim. There are remnants of the fortifications that they built, but there are no bodies. So if Occam's razor, no bodies, hold on. No, let me finish. Occam's razor, no bodies. We see their fortifications. We see that the fortifications were abandoned, but we see the army return back to Nineveh. So which one is likely more true? That the angel did this incineration, or that Hezekiah paid the tribute and the army went back, when we know the army went back? Which one is more true?
Now you're taking variables of what you decide to state is true, right?
You're not being honest. You're simply not being. Where are you from?
From the UK.
I picked that part, but I can't. I know the accent, but I can't pick where in the UK. There's a reason why I'm asking. It's not for sure.
Right? But you presented Occam's razor, right?
Yeah, that the simplest answer is usually the truth.
To explain the phenomenon of what?
That we have information that gives us a straightforward answer, but you would rather choose the one that has no evidence whatsoever and actually goes against the evidence that is straightforward. I mean, it's really not that hard.
You're blunder, my friend. We have collegiate universities all over the globe, universities, professors, theologians. You are no theologian, my friend. You are a TikTok specimen of someone desperately relevant here.
Sir.
So it's your word against the thousands of actual elite scholars, and you bear no merit, friend.
And if
no merit.
so, now So now all you can do now is just try to. Don't crash out. Stop crashing out, man. Stop crashing. Stop crashing, sir. Stop crashing. Stop crashing. Stop crashing, sir. Stop crashing. Because you're crashing. You're crashing, dude. You're crashing. You crashing. You're crashing. I keep crashing. No, I don't, because I never did. But you're crashing, sir, because you don't have the ability to be able to go. It's amazing. Bye. It's amazing. He's crashing because he cannot answer that question. He cannot show that the evidence point towards the army of Sennacherib moving back to Nineveh. And then he wants to say, oh, your credibility, trying to attack my credibility by crashing. Yeah, I'm on TikTok, so the fuck what? But do you think I have not read and studied what the Assyriologists have written and what conclusions they have come to? Do you think that I have to go to some university and obtain a piece of paper in order to go and read from the Oxford Library of what Assyriologists? So I would challenge you, sir, go and read what the Oxford Assyriologists have said concerning that situation. And I guarantee you're going to find out that the information that I am repeating is exactly the information that the Assyriologists out of Oxford University and Cambridge, go to Cambridge as well, since you're in the UK. That's why I'm telling you to use like them. But there is not one Assyriologist in the world who is not an apologist who thinks that an angel came and decimated those people. Not one. Yeah, he told me we need to check your resources. Go and look. I love how they crash out. What were we at? About 2 hours or something? I might have to clip that part. The crash out. I'm gonna come to you at my mini boss after what is it? Damn, I can't see. I need no English. What's your name, sir?
My name is Kyle.
Kyle?
Yeah.
Are you over 21?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a believer?
Yes.
All right. And so you believe in angels and demons?
Yes.
Okay. Why? What's your proof?
Because scriptures.
Okay, so if proof of the existence of a being is based on some writings, then Cyclops and other beings like griffins exist because people wrote about those too and believed that they existed.
Some people can believe that, but I believe in the scripture, like I told you.
Okay, but that's not proof though. Writings is not proof of a being's existence.
Okay, because basically it is not just one person encounter, not just one generation. We are talking about different generations and people that are not really Israelites or believers, architectures can prove that these people actually exist. And they've proven over time
How have they proven it? How have they proven it?
How have they proven it?
How?
Like I said, these things happen in different generations, and there are records.
Records are not proof of the existence of beings, right? We have to actually have other things to prove it other than just people writing it down. Because like I said, if people writing it down or their emotions or their beliefs or testimonies, then you would then have to give the same level of credibility to people who say that Brahma and Krishna exist, that Odin and Thor exist, that Shango and Eshu exist, because there are.
Like you mentioned Shango and Eshu, that is from my tribe.
Okay, I figured.
I believe they exist and they're demons. Because I've seen, listen, I've seen where the people that worship them did things that you can't explain with physical sight or science. That are spiritual. But it's a demonic power.
What did they do?
Okay. I'm saying a way that is dancing on the floor and it's appear on the roof of the house.
Wait a minute. Say that again. You seen a what? That appears?
Masquerade. I don't know if you understand what it's called masquerade.
No, I don't. I don't
It's
know.
African tradition.
You said it's a, but what is? I know I'm not understanding the word that you're using there. What word is that?
A masquerade, like they do things like magic, they perform outside, and they do things like in one place and happening in another place. Physically, you are seeing them. Some can even bring out fire.
And so they brought down some fire. And what did the fire do?
They are just doing something like magic or what I don't know how to put it, but it's something that you can't explain with physicality.
Okay, but hold on. They brought down some fire, and did the fire kill people?
No. Not actually the fire raining from heaven. Like they can be displaying and from nowhere they will fall.
Okay, so what is the effect? Like, what is the tangible effect that happened when people were calling on?
Okay, for example, Shango is activated as God of thunder in Yoruba tradition.
Right.
So the worshiper, they believe they have control over fire.
The worshiper, what?
Of Shango, for example, you mentioned Shango.
Right. You said Shango. You said the worshiper did something. What did the worshiper do?
They believe they have control over fire and thunder. They can stop them from falling or they can come way to fall.
Okay, but did they do it?
They will do it.
So they made the rainfall.
Yes.
Did it destroy people's lives or something?
No.
What did it?
They don't need to destroy. Let me give an example. Some people want to do party. They will go and pay them to make sure that rain does not fall. No matter what happens, they will do things when we don't fall at that moment. If they say 1 week, when we don't fall, they say yeah.
Okay. Did they go into a drought?
When we don't fall, it's when we say.
Okay, so you know that I can predict.
When you say,
We predict the weather all the time, right?
yes.
And we're pretty
They are
decent.
not predicting weather.
But I can predict the like if you can't, I can tell you if you pay me $40, I can make it not rain. All right. Have you seen the rain just stop immediately because somebody did it? All right, and that makes them a demon.
It's something that what I mean is the spiritual powers, what the demonic power and the power from the true God, which is the God of the scripture.
So let me ask you a question, because so we can get this into a different level here. Before the Europeans came to Nigeria, I'm assuming Nigeria, right?
Yes.
Before the Europeans came to Nigeria, did your ancestors think that they were demons, that Shango was a demon?
No, they don't believe Shango is a demon.
Right. So before Europeans came and oppressed your ancestors, and by the way, my ancestors, because that's where the majority of my ancestors come from. My ancestors and your ancestors never thought that they were demons. They thought that they were good gods. They thought that Mama Wata, that Oshun, Olorun, those were all good gods, and great things happened in their lives because of it.
Yes.
It was through oppression with guns that now you believe that Jesus and that all your ancestors. What do you mean not with gods? Are you denying? No. Hold on. Are you denying that the Christian colonizers didn't come in there and force our ancestors to worship their God?
No.
They didn't?
Yes. They did not. And I can explain.
Explain.
Now, coloniality was a so form. Coloniality where people like for example.
Mm-hmm.
The government is different from the church. But the church
The British government was not different from the church when colonization started.
It's different. Some people are doing
Sir, I am not going. I'm going to interrupt every time you tell something that is not true. At the time frame of the colonization of Nigeria, the British government was led by a king. The king was the head of the church. The church and the government were one and the same.
Okay.
So that is not true that they were separate. It was the Pope Nicholas is the one who started the slave trade of Africa, the African slave trade. From the European African slave trade was started by Pope Nicholas V. And he gave a decree that it is the Christians' duty to go into West Africa to enslave them and make them Christian. He wrote a papal bull. So look up Pope Nicholas V, papal bull, and you'll see where he said it is your Christian duty to enslave them and force them into Christianity.
Jesus or Jesus said, go to the world and enslave people and force them to be Christians. That's not in the scripture. Someone would I say because it doesn't go and someone, that is what Christian represent.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. Did Jesus follow the Jewish tradition?
Did Jesus follow the Jewish tradition?
Yeah.
Yes, the Jewish
Okay, hold on. Now, did Jesus say that until heaven and earth pass away, not one tittle of the law shall be abolished? Did Jesus say that until heaven and earth pass away, not one tittle of the law shall be abolished?
You have to put what is said in context. See,
it is in the context that he's saying, he's telling the people that you are not to, that not one tittle of the law shall be abolished before heaven and earth pass away. That is the context. He's just, that is in the same place that he says that he comes to fulfill something. But no, stop, wait. So and if you understand the context of the word fulfillment and in the context of what it's saying there, fulfillment is not the abolishment of anything. To fulfill something doesn't mean you abolish the thing that you fulfilled. Christian doctrine over, especially in the 18th and 19th century, Christian doctrine, I mean, I said the 19th and 20th century, Christian doctrine has changed that to mean that the law is done away with because they're following Paul's teachings and not the teachings of Jesus. So Paul is the one who abolished it. Paul abolishes the law. Jesus did not abolish the law. So according to Jesus, the law, okay, to fulfill does not mean to abolish. Okay.
What is fulfillment?
Fulfill means that you did something into its completeness, that you personally was able to do it. No. That is not how that is not what, sir, that is not what that means. So Job fulfilled the law. Zechariah fulfilled the law. Was it abolished?
You said what?
Job, and Zechariah are two people who fulfilled the law, yet the law was not abolished, right?
I didn't get a question.
Job and Zechariah are two men of a few that the Bible says they fulfilled the law. Did they abolish? Was the law abolished because they fulfilled the law?
Was the law abolished because they fulfilled the law?
Yeah.
You must read it in the context of the stage. You know the scripture to answer it
The context is that when the Bible is describing Job in Job chapter 1, it is saying that he was a righteous man and he fulfilled the law. The context is when they were describing Zechariah, it talks about him being a righteous man and fulfilling the law, that they abided by the law. To fulfill the law is simply meaning you abide by the law. That's it. You are demonstrating that you are living how the law says that you're supposed to live. It is not saying that the law is abolished. You are repeating preachers and preaching doctrines. You are not repeating what the Bible actually teaches, which is the problem with most Christians, is that you don't know it beyond what pastors have taught you. So Jesus, and to get to the point here, Jesus is telling you, and he said this on multiple times. He also said, let me, which has nothing to do with fulfillment. He also said that the Pharisee sits on the throne of Moses, and so do what they teach you, but do not do as they do, because they do not practice what they preach, basically. But he tells the people to follow what the Pharisees teach them, which is the law of Moses. So Jesus on two separate occasions is telling people that you are to follow the law. Now, what the law says is that in Leviticus 25, of the foreign nations and the foreigners amongst you is where you may buy your male and female slaves, and you will own them as property, and you will pass them down as your son to your sons as property, and you can treat them harshly.
Now, let me explain that. Can you allow me to explain that?
Sure.
Okay, first I will tell you, Jesus himself said, this is the summary of the law. This is the entire summary. No, calm down. Jesus, you mentioned Jesus. I'm giving you Jesus.
Yeah, say the first one, and then I'm going to explain that first one.
Listen, all ye Israel, the Lord your God is one God.
Mm-hmm.
And you shall serve the Lord your God with all your heart and all your might.
Mm-hmm.
And the second is like this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself.
Okay.
Jesus himself, he said, this is the fulfillment of the law. If you do this too, you are completed the law.
Mm-hmm.
That now, look, that Leviticus, if you read the context, in those generations, two nations will fight. Like America, for example, America and Iran, they will fight. We take the other nation as slave. Israelites were taken as slave, and Israelites took other people to as slave. So it was, it had nothing to do with religion. It was two nations fighting.
No, it wasn't.
Over the other nation.
Okay. Are you? So let me explain. Since you're going off into a tangent and making that, and you're stating everything you just said was correct yet incorrect. So again, you're going on what people are preaching today and not what it meant to those people back at that time frame when it was written. When the Jesus character supposedly said that you are to love God and obey God, serve God, that is how do you love and how do you obey God? Well, look at the Old Testament. The way that Israel showed that they love God and obey God is to follow the law. So when Jesus was saying that you are to love God, and the only way you can demonstrate that love of God is by following his law. Now, the other part, to love your neighbor as you love yourself, if you go back to first century Judaism, the word neighbor meant your fellow Israelites, did not mean anybody else outside of that. That is something that once Rome took over Christianity, they changed the identity of the definition of neighbor to mean everybody. But to the Jewish people,
Jesus said,
oh, so what? So first century Jesus was wrong then, because first century Jesus, when he said neighbors in Aramaic, he meant just Israelites, which is why in his little Great Commission, he says, first go to the Israelites who are your neighbors. Your neighbor is not the Romans, dude. You are indoctrinated into the preachings of today and not the understanding of what those things meant to those people back then when it was written. And if you can't take a word today and make it mean something, what a word means today cannot mean the same thing back 2,000 years ago. And then you forcing your identity on it. All right. So it didn't mean that. And then when you say that nations were warring and they become slaves and so on and so forth, the Bible tells you when Joshua told the children of Israel to go and take their inheritance, that of the Canaanites you cannot destroy, make them into slaves. Of the nations around you, make them into slaves. So the Bible very greatly supports slavery. And then and that is, but that is exactly what happened in Nigeria. And they were following the Bible in order to justify it, because the Bible justifies the conquering. You know what? Yes, when they first got there, then I said colonization. I didn't talk about when they first got there. When they first got there, yes, they were selling the people that they had fought wars against. Like the Yoruba fought the Igbo and they sold the Igbo into slavery, right? POWs. That was a common thing around the world that people did, period, back in those time frames. But you are not listening to what I stated. I stated that once they colonized Nigeria, once they took Nigeria, they then forced Christianity on the Nigerian people by telling them, one of the things that they told them is that the gods that you worship are demons and devils. And the people under duress, do you understand how a people under duress are being forced and told that their gods are demons? If you want a better life, stop worshiping the demons. You got to worship the God that we worship, and we just conquered you. So can you understand how our ancestors in Nigeria are being tortured by these colonists? And one way of gaining relief from the torture is to believe in their gods and stop worshiping the gods of their ancestors. And now here we are generations later, and you're still believing in it without the sword, without the gun in your face. Because our ancestors were taught it.
Because it's the truth.
Okay, we're good. I appreciate you. It is not. It is not. I appreciate you.
All right.
That is full indoctrination right there. That is just full indoctrination. And there's no, I don't beat my head against a wall. Where's my mouse? Oh, there it is. That is beating my head against the wall. Mini Boss.
Hi, Coach. How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
I'm glad you did this topic because it's been bugging me since I deconstructed. There is no way that demons are real, especially in the Old Testament, because there's just fallen angels and stuff in the Old Testament that do physical damage. There's not until the New Testament that there are demons that possess people and stuff. It's like the New Testament is a bad Greek version of the Old Testament with like paganism and stuff. I never saw demons anywhere until Jesus showed up in the New Testament as spirits and stuff. The Old Testament is mostly physical. When you die, you go to Sheol. It's just a grave. In the New Testament, you can be possessed by demons and spirits that Jesus has to cast out and stuff. So I'd like to say that no, I don't believe in demons at all. But I'm not a Christian. I'm an atheist anyway. But
what? Mini Boss hasn't always been your name, because I know this voice.
Anton Hughes.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say I know this voice.
Yeah, I called in like about 3 times now.
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, I agree with you 100%. If you when you go through the Bible, anytime something disastrous happened, an angel did it. There was no demons, and the other part about it is that the Old Testament writers were henotheistic, pretty much throughout his entire history, which means that they believed in their God, but they believed other gods existed as well. But those guys weren't seen as demonic. They were just the gods of those people, and they fought against those gods. And this Jealous God would be angry when somebody went and worshiped the other gods. But even in their battle, when it was Omri in his battle against Mesha, the Bible version says that Mesha sacrificed one of his children, and that's why Shamash they were able to defeat them, because Shamash gave them the power. Now, according to the Mesha stele, Mesha is just saying that, hey, we prayed to our God Shamash, then we defeated the Israelites, then we took the sacraments of the Israelites that was supposed to go to Yahweh, and we gave them to Shamash. And so that's how they were able to defeat the Israelites. So on both sides, neither side is saying the other one's God is a demon or a devil, but they're just the gods of those other people.
Exactly.
And you're right. It's not until you get into the Hellenization of the Jewish people that for the 2 centuries before Jesus, 2 or 3 centuries before Jesus, you start getting these teachings of gods and demons. And not just Hellenization. It first started with when they came up under Persian control. And the Persians had Agramenia and Ahura Mazda. And Agramenia had other demons that worked for him.
Yep.
And so they began incorporating the Zoroastrian and the Hellenized teachings to create this idea of devils and demons that Jesus then is dealing with. Because prior to that, a person born blind, they would have never said that they were possessed by a demon, or they sinned, that not a person born blind, that man chained up against the rock, they would have never said he was possessed by demons, because they didn't have a concept of demons.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, how did the people around Jesus' time not blatantly know that he wasn't telling the truth?
Well, it's just like, did you hear the guy? So you heard the guy I was just talking to, right?
Yeah.
All right. This guy is believing in Christianity because he can't think beyond the fact that since the 1600s,
yes,
our ancestors, so from 1600 to 2000, that's 400 years, 400 something years. For 400 years, your country was colonized and forced into Christianity. So Christianity has been teaching that the Ifa religion is evil for 400 years. So he's indoctrinated. It's like you can't see beyond that, because that's what you grew up with. So the people in first century, they would have been hearing the Jesus talk about demons, but for the last 300 years, that's what they've been talking about, is all of a sudden there's demons that now exist. And they would have thought it to be real. Exactly right.
I had another question. You said something earlier that was interesting. I have mental problems and stuff, nightmares every night. You said that you had a dream last night and you had people in your dream that you didn't want in there, so you just erased them out of there and rewound your dream and replayed it. How do you do that? And it went different. Did it go differently? Did it go better than you wanted it than it did the first time?
Oh, it went a hell of a lot better than it did the first time.
How do you do that? I want to be able to erase people out of my dreams too. I've tried, but I can't do that.
Well,
on the special equipment or something?
No special equipment. I mean, I don't know how much. So the meditating. So the way I first started doing it is that before I would go to sleep, when I feel myself getting sleepy, I start tapping my hand. And I would meditate on the fact that when I recognize that it's a dream, that I would tap my hand, right? So I did that for like months, maybe almost a year. That I would, before I go to sleep, I would tap my hand, and I would be saying to myself in my mind, if it's a dream, I'll tap my hand. If it's a dream, I'll tap my hand. If it's a dream, I'll tap my hand. And then before long, I would be in a dream, and then I'll tap my hand, and my brain would automatically recognize that now this is a dream. And then since it was a dream, I can change it. And so so once my brain realized that it's a dream, you can make it into whatever you want it to be.
How do you do it now? Do you do it the same way? Erase people out of your dream? How do you do it now?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't have to I don't have to go to sleep tapping my hand anymore.
Oh, I get it.
Now
so you willingly erase
brain,
people, like vanish them, like Thanos or something.
Yeah. So, well, I just start the dream over, and I just don't allow them to come into the dream. So now I'll just be dreaming, and then my brain, I'll see myself tap my hand in the dream, and then I'll know it's a dream, and then I just change it. Like my brain just automatically changes it when I'm awake. I mean, it automatically changes it as if I'm awake, and I'm just. And it's
I used to lucid dream a lot when I was a kid. That's when you are aware that you're in a dream, but I never tried to change it. I just knew it was a dream. I never tried to change it. I used to astral project and stuff. I never tried to change it. I just knew that I was dreaming.
Well, so when you're tapping, you know, tell your brain, okay, I know that it is a dream and I can change it. So it's a dream and I can change it. Repetition of saying something to yourself, your brain will start to believe that that is true, that you can do that.
Yeah.
And when your brain believes that it can do something, it does it. So
when help me out with my schizophrenia.
Yeah. So just you know, keep tapping your hand or whatever, however method you choose to figure it out. And then but tell yourself that you can change it. And then when you're able to change it, then as you continue to, as you start to be able to lucid, and because that's all it is lucid dreaming. When you start lucid dreaming and you know there's a dream, you can go back and you can change it. Because the people that I didn't want in that dream, they weren't in that dream after that.
Another question. You said you're moving out of the U.S.
Not right now.
You've been saying that for a while, that you're eventually gonna move out of the U.S. Well, I'm going to eventually move out too, but I'm moving to Hungary. I was wondering, are you going to start another business? What kind of business are you going to start? Or are you going to stay retired when you move? I'd stay retired if I were you. Just sit there and relax. Enjoy your years.
I don't know.
Work so good so that you don't need to wait till you're like 64 to retire. You can retire now. Well, you could just enjoy your wife all day.
Well, knowing me, I am starting a business here in the next month or so. Most likely I will grow that business so that it functions. I refuse to grow any business that doesn't function without me. I'll grow it to it functions without me. And then I will leave, and then I would just have to just check up on that business, you know, from a distance. I still run it. I just run it from a distance, but I won't be doing like working 12 hours a day or no shit like that. I'll be working more like 12 hours a week.
How long do you think? I mean, what kind of business do you think it'll be? I like to maybe donate some money or buy some stuff from you or something. Support you.
No, it's a consulting company.
That I'm starting. Are you still running your cigar or your popcorn shop?
Nope.
Dang.
Nope. I was contemplating starting an online cigar lounge where you can buy cigars, but I still might do that. I don't know. I have to let you know those parts. I do know I'm doing this consulting one because it landed in my lap.
Okay. And
I always do a business that lands in my lap.
Final two questions. Are you still going to do deconstructing Christianity when you eventually move out of the U.S.?
Most likely, I still will be.
Good.
And what's your last question?
Is Chixie Mary or Boss Lady your wife?
No. Why?
I was asking that because you talked about your wife being on the chats before. And there are only two females that I've ever seen on the chat. So I was just wondering.
No, there's quite a few women who are on the chats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them. But no, that's not my wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
You have a good one. I'll check back in with you tomorrow at noon to see your new topic.
All right. See you tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Let's see. How long I've been on? Okay. I don't know. Miss Fifi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Well, you said interesting happening.
Indeed, I have.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
No, he was in quite denial. And then I'm thinking, that how many people are in such denial?
2.6 billion.
I mean,
2.6 billion Christians are in denial.
that's not a lot of people.
2.6 billion?
What doesn't India, Asia have like 5 billion?
Well, if you combine India and China together, then yeah, it's about 5 billion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, if we
and then you have Australia.
Yeah. Now, if we said all the people who are, if we said everyone who believes in these fairy tale gods, they're all in denial. Now we're looking at about 6 point something billion people of the 8 billion that's on the planet.
How many?
About 6.8 billion people believe in some form of God.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we have to put our responsibilities some places.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but you as humans.
Yeah. And most of those people are believing these guys only believe in it because their social environment or their family environment indoctrinated them into it.
Right.
Right. It's never I thought for myself. I researched for myself. No one taught me anything. My society didn't demonstrate anything. Most of them is because somebody taught them as a child, or they were seeing it as they grew up all around them socially.
Right. Because no one pulls that out of the sky.
No. No. Only the primitive people from back in the day did, but that's it. Just the primitive people from back in the day, because we are too scientifically advanced for anybody to actually believe in sky gods.
Okay. I was going to say, people need to really learn about medicine, learn about technology.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things have been suppressed by religion.
Yeah. And they should learn about history.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Like, that was severely lacking with the guy who was just the guy from Nigeria. He doesn't understand the history of his own country, and instead views that history through a British religious perspective.
Right. And he knew about the other gods also of his ancestors.
Yeah. But he refused to accept the fact that it was the colonizing British through force that taught them 400 years ago that those were demons. And now through 400 years of that indoctrination, he still believes it, instead of saying that, wait a minute, the only reason they became demonic is because somebody forced us with a gun. So why would I still believe in it if it was done by force and not by love? Right. And if he understood when that they're supposed to go and evangelicize to the people, evangelion means to give a report of military victory. So they are doing it through the military, exactly like the Jesus character is talking about. But even if you have the modern day thought process that it is that the way that you grow the church is through preaching, that's still not how your ancestors became Christians. They became Christians through violence.
Right.
But when people get indoctrinated, it's hard for them to see otherwise, because they don't want to be on the outside group. They want to be part of the big group. And so to think for himself, he's going to be stuck.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you kept your cool and you stayed straight on it. I'm so proud of you. Because I had to cut the volume down at one point.
Thank you.
It was too much for me. I was like, oh my goodness.
I try to be patient.
I'm just thinking about all of the people who are in Nigeria. Somebody's supposed to be coming to rescue them from the Muslims in Nigeria. And if they don't see the correlation between what happened to them 400 years ago and what's going on now.
Yeah. And I'm doing a video later on today, and in that video, I'm going to talk about if the where the Christians are dominant in Nigeria, which is central and southeastern Nigeria, they are still killing people or beating people that they are claiming to be witches because they are still practicing the indigenous religion. So if all of Nigeria became Christian, if all of Nigeria was dominated by Christianity, all they would do was turn their focus on the witch hunts that they're already currently doing towards, non-Christians. The only reason they don't do that towards the Muslims because the Muslims is fighting back. So there's a story that I'm going to tell on the video about a young man, a guy who passed another young man who's not a Christian and complimented him on his ability to carry 2 bales of water. And then the guy claimed that dude was a witch, and a crowd came and beat that man almost to death. And then because he was claimed to be a witch, which he never did anything, he was kicked. He lost his job because they claimed that he was a witch. And now the man he's pretty much exiled from his people. All because they still do Christian witch hunts in Nigeria. So the Christians are no better than the Muslims, who are mostly killing other Muslims and not Christians. They're killing more Muslims than they're killing Christians. But they won't tell you that. Because they're killing the more liberal Muslims are the ones who are being persecuted the most. Yeah, but they don't want to tell you that. They just want to tell you what the Vatican is reporting, what these other Christian sources are reporting. But when the UN inspectors go in there and these other bodies go in there, these other organizations go in there, and they're just reporting what they see, they are reporting that they are killing the Sunni Muslims more than they're killing anybody else. Some churches have been burned down in the central area or in the Muslim area, but in the southeastern area, nobody's being persecuted. But they are all persecuting people of the indigenous religion. Christians and Muslims are persecuting them.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about that part. They just want to be the victim. So they just a bunch of bull.
Yes, basically. They want to be persecuted like Christ.
Yeah, they do. They truly do. They want to see it that way. Now they don't. What they want is other people that they can point at and say that they are being persecuted. They don't want to be persecuted themselves. Because you see, they ain't running over there trying to help nobody. They staying safely in America, safely in Europe, safely in Australia. They not going over there to do anything. They ain't going over there to fight for the cause. They're gonna stay where it's safe and be like, oh, look what they're doing. We need to stop it. We're being persecuted. The end time is coming. Why they stay safe in their house. Yeah. That is, to me, that is a weakness. You're showing your weakness in your religion. If you was truly devout, you'd be over there doing something about it. If you was truly devout. So that's why I say they all got doubts. They don't believe in their religion as strongly as they proclaim. It's kind of,
they don't know anything else.
They refuse to. And then they'll refuse anything that comes to them that invalidates their religion and shows them who they really are. Which, I mean, most people don't want to really see who they are anyway.
Yeah, that was really hard with the Nigerian guy. And then at the end, I'm just like saying, but what does this have to do with? This is about Israel. This is not about Africa.
Not at all. Exactly. All that stuff is about Israel. It ain't got nothing to do with Africa. That's another reason why I can't deal with this religion, because it has nothing to do with Africa. It has nothing to do with the Americas. It has nothing to do with anywhere in the world except for Israel.
Right.
So why am I might as well go ahead and worship you know, the what's the Japanese little guy? Shinto. I might as well go and worship Shinto, even though Shinto ain't got nothing to do with everybody else. That's only Japan. Why am I bothering?
Right.
Oh, no, I'm with you. Well, let me get these other two people up here before I go out, because these other two people probably take the rest of these 30 minutes.
Okay.
I appreciate you, Miss Fifi.
Appreciate you too.
All right. Always a voice of calm and peace and wisdom for Miss Fifi. Just calmness. I got Low and then I got Nubs. Bishop, we're gonna end with Bishop Nubs. Low. Low. Low, did you press that button by accident? He pressed it by accident. Did you hit the button by accident? You hit it by accident, didn't you? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. What you got? So we almost at the end of the show.
Okay, I see you talking about angels and demons, but I'm deconstructing myself, so that's one hard thing for me. I don't know. So I don't know about that or not, whether they will or not.
Okay, how about this? In the entire Old Testament, there is no such thing as a demon.
Right. You don't see nothing in the Old Testament really talking about demons. That you have, the evil spirit. You have Saul, evil spirit, and David play music and speak real evil and stuff like that. I
ain't understand nothing you just said. That shit was kind of mumbled and slurred.
Okay,
what'd you say?
I'm gonna have to bow this. I got something going on.
I was gonna say you trying to do two things at the same time, ain't you?
Right. You still on for a little bit. I call back.
I'm not. I'm finna end in a few minutes. All right. All right. Catch you tomorrow. All right. Yeah. I told you I got an opportunity I'm about to pursue, so I'm gonna have to cut some of this time because I got to devote other time to other things. Bishop Nubs.
Hello, good sir. How goes the ministry?
Ministry.
Yeah, ministry is to provide a service to others without expectation of compensation.
Oh, well, shit. I got one of the few ministries that exist, huh?
Right. See, when you know what words mean, the more you know.
The more you know.
So,
real quick. Where are you located again?
I'm on Minnesota.
So did you see some of them lights?
Beautiful. I saw the heavens above. They opened up and God came down and personally didn't do a goddamn thing.
So you saw those lights?
Yes, I did. They were gorgeous. No angels.
That sucks.
Yep, no angels. A lot of crazy Norwegian people claiming to see angels in that church. That church, holy cow. Talk about the devil incarnate. Won't go there because my opinions are different than a lot of your other viewers, but nevertheless, wow. Not a church that I would ever go to even as a Christian.
So what are your thoughts about Angels and Demons? And not the movie, because I know you probably have a smart ass comment about the movie. So
you know me so well. You know me so well. Well, the only time that I ever seen at anything about angels and demons, they're always working for God in the Bible. And it doesn't matter. It's either an angel or a demon, one of the two. Now, some would say, well, the angels are working for God, but the demons are working for Satan. Now, my question is, if they're working for Satan and Satan's just middle management, then ultimately, much like your average city municipal worker, they have to sign, things like the Foreign Agency Registration Act, informing us that they are in fact foreign and not even part of us. I wonder why that is. So in other words, you've got all these ages, you've got the democrats and the angel tards, and they're just fighting for the same damn thing. Like, are people so? I guess I know the answer. Yes, 20 or 2 billion something people, whatever. But come on, people, do better. Just do better.
So let me try to hone you in a little bit. So when we look at the story between Jesus and dealing with the man who was chained up against the wall, the rocks, right? And then Jesus has a conversation with the demons where he says, where the demons are like, oh, don't just destroy us, but could you let us go into these pigs? And then Jesus makes the agreement that they can go into the pigs, right?
Right.
That sounds like, you know how when you have a VP or somebody, a C officer comes to close down a shop.
Yep.
And they ask for, instead of just
let's do some liquidation.
Down, can you just do like a drawdown? Sounds like they're negotiating with their boss.
That's it.
They know that the boss has the authority to do whichever he wants, and if we negotiate, maybe we get a good severance package. The severance package was to be able to go and run into the pigs.
That's it.
So in your way of saying how they are merely just working for the same God, they're just following the rules of that God and doing their job.
And if it's not the case, that means that they're more powerful than that God.
Right. Because if they
and working outside of his supreme will and authority, having a greater will and authority by proxy.
Yeah. Because we don't see any of them doing anything outside of the will of this God. Because if I'm the beast, why am I going to follow your preset program when I know I'm going to lose? I'm going to do something different.
Yep.
Right. I'm not going to.
And there is no will outside of the will of God, right?
No. So they are. And so he then created everything that's going into the lake of fire was then created by this God on purpose to be thrown into the lake of fire. So he purposely created beings that he's going to torture.
Fucking egotistical God. Anyways, the other reason that I came up here is you said you're getting into consulting. I've got a great business opportunity. I wanted to run it by you, and it is also consulting. So Christians have this habit of, saying they're going to save the world. I'm looking to do a consulting program for churches, mosques, synagogues, anybody that would like to start a non-profit garden. I would like to help feed and actually do the things that the Christians are. I'll show them how to do it, and that way they can follow in suit and actually follow through on what they say they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So in all seriousness, I actually wouldn't mind doing that, just not necessarily for the churches. But the other thing is if you ever wanted to get into any Airbnb stuff, I know a guy.
No, I don't. Oh, okay, I got you.
I know a guy, and what I mean by that is if you ever want to buy some land and make some money, I'll build your shit and we can split shit. But we'll talk if you need to. Other than that, you have yourself a swell day and go out and do the good ministry.
You know what? I don't like that you said call it a ministry. I'm gonna fight you over that one, but I'm gonna leave it alone for right now because it's time to get off this damn.
Peace out.
Later, ass. Today was an interesting conversation. I did enjoy the conversation for the most part. That's not what I want on the screen. I did enjoy the conversation for the most part. Well, I enjoyed all of it. No, for the most part. If that young man is ever listening, if he's still listening to this one, the young man from New Orleans, sincerely go seek help. You know, it's going to cost you money. It should cost you money. You shouldn't getting shit for free. I'm sure you're not accustomed to getting shit for free anyway. But that young man who from New Orleans, definitely you're going to be on my mind constantly for the rest of the day. Go and seek some help because you need to solve your anger issues. So I would implore you, this ain't got nothing to do with Christian love. This is just human love, humanity. Go get help. What you've been through your life, I don't know the details of it, but you need help. You need therapy to get past that anger because you're not going to be able to achieve the things that you desire to achieve, still holding on to that anger. So I wanted to make one more plea to that young man, if he's still listening, to go and seek out that help. To a lighter thing, I'm going to have to reduce the number of hours that I spend on social media doing lives because of a venture that landed in my lap. Right now, I'm going to say that I will only be doing lives now Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I have to be able to devote more time to this new venture. There's some things that I got to get done over the next couple of weeks, and they're going to require my time in order to take advantage of this situation. And like I just said, when things land in my lap, that's a good thing. I got to take advantage of it. Got to take advantage of it. And this one is just too damn good for me not to take advantage of it. So I'll tell you guys about it later on. Once things get really set up, then I'll tell you about it. So, but right now, close to vest. Keeping it close to my vest. But I'm going to have to reduce the show to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in order to make this thing happen. Love y'all, but I love me and my family more. The other thing, if you have not signed up already, I think Sherry was telling me yesterday that the bookings, the rooms, the cabins for this cruise that we're taking October 31st through November 4th of 2026, that those cabins are filling up quickly out of New Orleans. So if you go to my Facebook page at Coach Renz 33 or Deconstructing Christianity, but at Coach Renz 33 is the easiest way to find it. On Facebook, there is what's the thing called? There's a featured comment on the page, which you'll be able to see easily. That will tell you all the information of which Carnival cruise it is. It's the one that's leaving out of New Orleans, the Valor, that's leaving October 31st, 2026, 5-day cruise. It also shows you, I put a picture of the Chichen Itza and Cenote, the Cenote Chichen Itza excursion. With those who want to join, we're taking that excursion. We're going to go to the Chichen Itza Pyramid, and there's a lot more stuff at the Chichen Itza Pyramid. You go to the Cenote, which is they used to believe that it was a well of purification and the gods and all that kind of stuff. And this is the temple of Kukulkan, right? And also they provide a buffet at the Cenote. So we're going to do that one. So I'll look forward to whomever. I already know a few people have already booked theirs. If you book it now, you only need $100 to book it. And then, of course, it's double occupancy. So comment on the Facebook page if you need somebody to join in with you, if you need a cruise buddy, right? Maybe there'll be somebody else who's looking for a cruise buddy and it'll still work. So, yeah. Other than that, continue to support the channel. I appreciate everybody who supports the channel through all the different various mechanisms of it. And one of the videos I make today will only be for super fans, for subscription holders and members today. So I am going to start putting more videos out just for those members as well. So if you want those videos, then become a super fan on TikTok or a subscription holder on Facebook or a member on YouTube. So I would appreciate those people who do support the channel that way as well. It's like $5.99 a month to support the channel in that format. So y'all have a great day. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.